up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as that Midday Show. That is your girl Adara, and I am Sharif. And we're going to actually do the roll call today because I kind of forgot yesterday, so it's all good. So we're going to wait for everyone to come on in from the other stream. We already have Big Kyle Burdett in the chat letting everybody know what he's looking at. He's looking at Tesla. He's looking at the SPY as well as SoFi. I think he sent me a chart on that. So we'll look at that in a second. Shout out to two Pamps, Darwin, Alex, Enzo. We got Easy Trader, Mateus Lane, Miss A, Mr. Long Shorts, and Solo Cristo. Market Snipers in the house, as well as Sebastian, Pitchbull, Max, 2 New York Cents, baby. Big Bob Dub, Ken Wicken, TH, we got the Piper, we got Naps as well, Aaron and Joanna Brewster, Day Trader Cut, and James Dell all making it in today. Lionel Martinez, I was about to say Lionel Messi, you really got me close there. Joe Finero, Raul, Elon, and the Skips 8. All in the house. Good morning, Adara.
Good morning. How are you this fine Tuesday? Bless you.
Bless you, Neil. I am well. How are you? I do, big day in these markets today. Obviously, a lot of stuff running. We made all-time highs on some stuff. Microsoft's moving as well. Anything you're looking at before we get going?
Yeah, I'm looking at 2 old pals. One of them is going to be Nvidia. I already took a filled short here, but you know what? I'm happy I had the impetus to take it. I want to talk about it, and I managed it okay. So I think that's sometimes what matters. I've been obsessed with 948. Sean can tell you I was gapping about 948 last night in the market recap. Then, we closed yesterday at 948. I've been liking this level since last week, mind you, 948.50. Neil mentioned as well earlier that drop we had, 948.50.
No way.
Nvidia loves 948. So I see us fail to get to 948, and I say, Dara, try your short. Try your short. Took a short, and Nvidia was like, see ya. Popped above 949. I said goodbye. So risk a little bit. You have to risk to reward. Now, look, now we're failing. So I should have, in retrospect, it's like, how do you do that trade better? You don't short at the second it gets near at 948, although I did wait a couple times. I should have waited to see that failed break up, like us try to get it and fail below. So timing there was an issue. I'm not saying I'm not getting back in it. You know what I mean?
I like it.
The other one I'm looking at is, I refer to 2 old pals, so everyone I think knows where I'm going here, or maybe you don't. You mentioned names making new all-time highs. One of them's Eli Lilly. I was talking to you about this look. I live this look. I like that we have some levels here. I actually wrote down levels. It's not a sticky note, but it's my own little list of levels I like. And Eli Lilly, I have a couple here, not in any direction, just levels that I will be looking at the chart for. 815, 810. So just to show 815, 810, 807.50, 805. Those are going to be my levels. 805 actually right now I'm confluence with VWAP, so not a bad look. I want to be, obviously I can't trade Nvidia and Eli Lilly at the same time because they are both big old monsters, but they're ones that I'm going to be looking at.
I love how the sticky note kind of, well, it's not sticky note, but your levels. I like that. Sounds good. All right, guys, here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at XPEV. It had a big move up, and there is one hell of a tug and war happening between buyers and sellers at said $9 level. I'm long 9. It doesn't say it on the position board, but I am long. Once I wet my beak or get stopped out, it will update. But there is a pre-market level for XPEV that I liked at this level. So it wasn't just the 50 period on the 5. It wasn't just the whole dollar level, but it was the top end of the consolidation range in the pre. I'm talking about said area top over here, 894 at and 899 here at the top. So I said, okay, I'm seeing a whole bunch of bottoming tail candles come through 9. Let me get in, come what may. I put my out below 890. We'll see exactly. So I'll have to give it some room. I'll look for a possible VWAP retracement. That's a little ambitious, but we're going to stick with that kind of thinking. That is obviously if I don't get stopped out. So 946 is 940, depending on where VWAP is at the time. It is a dynamic indicator, right? So it's not going to just stay stagnant. It could come down as the price action remains below it. So you have to be alive to that. So your profit taker can't be, if you're aiming for a VWAP profit target, you got to make sure that you're adjusting it as a VWAP adjusts. So I'm long at 904, I believe. We're printing 903s right now. The idea here is to maintain 9. If 9 goes, that's the end of the trade for me. I'll get to a whole bunch of these different small cap gappers because there are plenty of running today. Trust me, no shortage of small cappers to talk about today, but we do have a lesson that we got to get to. So let's get to that. We're talking about the measured move all week long. Yesterday, we introduced the concept of of the measured move so that we could get more nuanced with the lessons and the trades that we can make, derivatives of the measured move. So let's get right to it. This lesson dives into using true range and average true range. Believe it or not, they're different. True range TR and average true range ATR to identify intraday trends, helping you navigate the dynamic world of short-term trading. So let's get right to it. Understanding true range, let's just talk about what this is right away. So imagine a stock bouncing between high and low prices throughout the day. The true range, TR for short, goes beyond the simple difference between these two, the high and the low, and actually captures the market's overall movement. Here's how to calculate it. For your current high, essentially this is the standard price range. It's your current high minus your current low. And then you're going to have the absolute value, of the current high minus the previous close. I know we get a little mathematical here, but you can always screenshot this and have a look through it later. So the absolute value of the current high minus the previous close, and last but not least, you're going to calculate the absolute value of the previous close minus the current low. I know a whole bunch of different numbers there, but I'm sure if you use it enough, it'll just become second nature. So your true range equals the highest value among these three calculations. So once you do these three different calculations, the true range will equal the highest value among these three different results. It considers not only your daily high and low, but also how the price moves relative to the previous day's close, providing you a more comprehensive picture. So that's, it in a nutshell. I know it gets a little bit more nuanced, but we're gonna get to that in a little bit. So this is a graphic showing how to calculate essentially the average true range. So if my 1, 2, 3 steps were not good enough, you can always screenshot this and have a look at it graphically. I think this actually displays it a little bit better. All right, so average true range. Now we have a grasp on true range. We've all heard average true range. A lot of people use this for so many different reasons, to play stops, to analyze volatility, this, that, and the other. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about it, introduce a concept to you. So introducing average true range. True range is a snapshot, right? But trends happen to emerge over time. This is where ATR, average true range, comes in. It's a technical indicator that smooths out volatility by averaging the true range over a chosen period. Typically, it's 14 days. So if you ever load up a software platform and you want ATR, the default setting typically will be 14. So to repeat, it's a technical indicator that smooths out the volatility by averaging the true range that we just talked about over X amount of time, typically 14 days. Here's a gist. So ATR equals the average of the previous period's true range values. So if you take true range for day 1, 2, 3, 4, you're basically averaging all those different values for the 14 days, and that gives you your ATR. That's a mathematical calculation, just to understand that. And this is slightly blurry. I apologize about this, but this is an ATR graphic, which with obviously labels and explanations over here, looking at the price action relative to ATR and looking for divergences there. So using ATR and TR, how do we do it? Okay, for intraday trades specifically. So higher TR, let's talk about what they mean first. So a higher TR, a rising true range indicates obviously increased volatility. This could be a signal for a trend that's beginning or strengthening trend depending on the context. You have to look at it contextually. A lower true range, so a falling TR, suggests decreasing volatility, which could indicate a trend's end or a potential beginning of a consolidation period. So the end of a trend or the beginning of a consolidation period. And using your average true range as a filter is actually quite helpful here. So don't jump into every trade, every wiggle. Use ATR to gauge the normal price movement for that stock, right? We've talked about this in the past. If the price makes a significant move exceeding a multiple of the ATR, for example, like say twice the ATR or 3 times the ATR, something that is out outsized, not regular for that particular name. It'll suggest a stronger trend compared to a move within the ATR's range, which could just be noise. So what you're looking for here is something in the multiple of the regular ATR for that particular name. But go back and have a look historically. Is it something that it normally does? Does that name have a habit of doing 2 or 3 times ATR? If it does, then you may have to look at it a little bit differently. And remember, guys, TR and ATR are market volatility measures, not direction indicators. So they're not telling you whether to go long or short. They're telling you if the name you're looking at today is quite volatile. They help assess the strength of the trend, but they don't predict the direction. They help assess the strength, but don't predict direction. So it's incumbent upon you to know whether to go long or short based upon price action. And you can combine true range with average true range for an analysis with other technical indicators like moving averages or price patterns for a more comprehensive understanding of the trend, guys. And practice makes perfect, especially with this type of trade where it gets a little bit more nuanced. Look at the historical charts and identify how true range and average true range evolved during those established trends. And then apply this knowledge to live intraday charts. Observe, for example, how true range behaves and uses average true range as a filter to identify potential entry and exit points based on those based on the trend strength, Adara.
Yeah, thank you so much for going over that lesson. Also, guys, I apologize for the blurry graphic. That was
All
me.
good.
I liked the graphic, and I was trying to find a way to make it not blurry, and the graphic was like, this is who I am. Like, okay. I saw you pumped your fist there, though.
Yeah, we just wet our beak on some XPEV. Yeah, it was a 9 hold. I mean, I really did believe in the 9 hold. It was doing the wick shimmy at 9. And guys, I'm sorry. I've been told that, sometimes when I say these terms, people are like, oh. They're not sure about what I mean by the wick shimmy, so it's incumbent upon me to explain what I mean there. See how this is doing bottoming tail candles through a key technical area? So here, there's confluence between the 50 period, which I respect on the $5 and $9 area, okay? So it's the whole dollar area with the 50. In addition to that, we did have that top end of the range in the pre, right at 9. Couldn't break the pre. Couldn't break the $9 level in the pre, but come 9:30 and we skyrocket right through. We come back down off that 10.5 touch and we come back into 9. I'm looking to defend 9. Went my beak at 15s. Let's see if this holds up. It's coming back down now into my entry. So definitely showing you that the shorts are interested in pushing XPEV down. We know that these Chinese EV ADRs have been having a tough go of it lately, especially Li Auto.
Yeah, especially Li Auto. I said to Sharif, I'm like, how do you think Li Auto is going to feel that you're trading this XPEG now? But no, jokes aside, great trade there on EXP. That was not English. XPEV. There's all the letters wrong there. Good times. Also, thank you to Dragon for pointing out this meta to me. This one's kind of rangy. The thing I don't love about it is the slightly lower highs, and it looks like we're breaking below that previous base of 466.80. I think there could be something here if the spread, and actually the spread's pretty chill in this one today. Like right now, 13 pennies. It was just 6 pennies a second ago, which for meta is actually kind of awesome. So thank you very much, Dragon, for putting that one out to me. I'm going to keep an eye on it. Thank you so much to David Alpheus for the $1.99. I think this is British pound super chat. Tips on the uses of each time frame and top down. So, I mean, in terms of time frames for charts, it's going to depend on your personal preference. I think sometimes, and you always want to look at multiple time frames. So sometimes, like, look at daily. Sometimes you want to get a general sense of trend and levels. I'll just use meta because it's open. Bless you. So you look at the daily on Meta, you could see, hey, we actually do have some interesting support. That's actually Meta ended up being a great example. Thank you, Meta. This 480 support and resistance, for example, that you can see on the daily chart that you wouldn't necessarily see on the intraday chart of Meta because it's not a level that's going to show up in the intraday. You know what I mean? So that's, I think, one thing to keep an eye on here that's interesting that you could look at on the daily. Then let's say, well, what if I want to look at the hourly candle in Meta? Well, then you can kind of get a sense of general trends too, right, on a wider term. So we've been in a bit of a downtrend in Meta in the last few days, something you can see in the hourly. And then, of course, on in the 5 minute, you can just kind of see different stuff. So I think one thing as well is different traders are going to trade off different tables. I know, Sharif, you like the 1 minute. I like the 5 minute. Obi likes the 15 minute. So you're going to have different time frames that you prefer to trade off of. But I would always say this is something I need to get better at as well, looking at different time frames.
I like multiple time frames.
That's true too. Yeah.
I like the 1 and the 5.
Okay,
To
so
weasel my way
trying to
in.
put you in a box.
Yeah, so the side charts are all 5, and then the trading, the white ones, are all 1s. I know.
yeah.
I kind of like to, keep it fresh, keep it diversified. I see you, Rohit. I see you, Brad Gober. You guys want me to go over the small cap gappers, so I'm going to do that because I'm excited about the small cap gappers too. All right, there's a whole lot going on. A couple in triple digit land. It goes by the ticker MG. I can read, I promise. MGOL, big move up today for this monster, 391% in the good. It's doing the wick shimmy. Right now, these bottoming tail candles trying to hold up at the 10 at $1.15-ish. It's touched the 20 once here. On my 5-minute time frame. It came into it super quick. It didn't even make it into the $1 area. It came into 103, 1 penny above the 20, but it kind of looks like it may be doing a rounded top. I don't know. I'm going to stay away from this for the moment. There is a trade to be had here at the $1 area. I feel it's cleared 1 by enough distance to say, okay, I'll use 1 as a level of support to defend. It looks like maybe it's going to be the 20 or the 10 featuring here because the closing prints all above the 10 on the 5-minute, and the wicks, the deepest of which has come into the 20 on the 5-minute. So all eyes on MGOL up big, for almost 400%, having done 201 million shares on the day. Geez Louise, keep your eye on this one. This one could definitely get going. MGRX, no slouch either. This one started its life well in the heart of penny stock world. Right there at 25 pennies was the closing print from yesterday. Alas, this headline came in at 8:30, and this went up big boy, right into that 8 penny area. Then we descend right back in to about almost 40 pennies there. So we give up basically half the move, and that was the end of that. Inverse head and shoulders, it looks like, and quaboom went the dynamite into the high day 112. It's below $1 right now, trying to do the dance here with the 10 or the 20. Above VWAP though, VWAP is at 73 pennies on MGRX. I didn't give you the deets on this, and that's my bad. So give me a second here to load it up. I don't know where the hell these things keep going. MGRX, all right, let's find out. MGRX. I'm trying to load up the details for you guys. All right, $20 million market cap. I already mentioned it did 168 million shares on the day, 15 million share float. So kind of small, especially for a stock that was 25 pennies about a couple hours ago. So good look there. Keep your eyes out on that. XPEV already made that whole thing clear. Not going to belabor that anymore. BDRX, this one, another decent one here. I think this is a holdout from a couple of days ago, but getting a real nice move today. This one started moving at like 4:20 a.m. and has been making higher highs and higher lows, highest of which is 296. Well above VWAP now, but one thing I can make a quick observation about this, the range per candle on BDRX is quite wide. That usually lends itself to getting wicked out on a stop out. So you're gonna have to be quite strategic with where you place your stops. Looks like a deep retracement came into that 50 period area with a hold up at 2. So BDRX also on watch. And last but not least, MMAT. The deets on this one, I'll give it to you in a second. It's below VWAP right now. This one really started running in the aftermarket yesterday. We're still below the aftermarket high yesterday at 460. But MMAT, $22 million cap, 34 million shares traded on the day, and the float, 5.4 million shares. So definitely on the smaller side, but below VWAP right now, Adair.
Yeah, I mean, what? Yeah, thank you for going over that one for sure. In that, and that's a great beak winner there, just hanging out there.
Yeah, it's just hanging.
Just like hi, good job, Sharif. It's congratulating you.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, you know what? I saw Anurag here asking us to look at a review on Tesla. I just took a failed Tesla short, which I can talk about briefly. I just tried to short that 179. It was a bit of resistance earlier, and I was watching the future went down a little bit. So I said, hey, Tesla might go down a little bit here. And Tesla laughed in my face. It's all good. It went exactly as planned. So I have to be really proud of the risk management on it. You know what I mean? Even if I'm not proud of the trade. So I had a successful Nvidia trade that I literally have forgotten to go over, which I'm not going to get at right this second. But yeah, to answer your question, Anurag, let's look at the daily. I know you were looking at a swing here until the 200 level. Yeah, here's my thing on Tesla is I think some of the main resistance, I don't know why it's not showing me the whole chart. I know 205 has been a level of resistance here on TSLA, but right now I think we're kind of a little bit chop and churn. We've kind of been in that 170, 180 area, and I would say that 180, I think we kind of need the catalyst to break above that potentially, just based on what we're seeing on the daily chart. Also, we do have a lot of hubbub in with regards to what's going on with that pay package, right? So I think until we get some of that stuff sorted out, it might be a little difficult for Tesla. I would just say, yeah, in terms of levels, of course, we did have that nice move up earnings, but we gave back some of that. Right now, we're literally just kind of chopping and churning around here, around this 180, 170. So I'm going to be honest, a little bit harder to give levels beyond that 205 resistance, going back a little bit. Also, if anyone else wants to look at tickers, definitely put in the chat, say hi, let us know.
Oh, yeah.
Because we love getting to see what everybody else is looking at here. Tesla, don't reject now, come on. But also, thank you so much to the only 4.0. I like that casual, like academic humble brag. I love that. 199 super chat. Good beak wetting spot here on FFIE or not.
Okay.
So I am not. I know you've traded this name in the past, so you might have a better look at the future of Faraday.
You're great with levels too, so I think you can give a very
Yeah, I would say sorry, this was a couple minutes ago, but I think that 150 to me, that's clearly an area of resistance, and it was also an area of support in the pre. So I would say 150. I would say thank you Faraday, and definitely get the beak a little bit drenched here. Not that we have kind of continued to climb back after that 10-20 moves, so we've continued to steadily climb higher, but I do think there is a bit of support at 150, or sorry, a bit of resistance here at 150, so that would definitely, I think, be an area of interest there, just based on what we're seeing on the 5-minute. I'll take a look at the daily on Faraday as well. Yeah, I was going to probably not giving you a lot of levels here, just because this one it does move like a small cap, so it's a little bit harder to read on the daily, but I do like, let's switch to the 3-minute as well, see what I'm getting. Yeah, 3-minute, I still do like the 150 level. However, I mean, we do have a little bit of a bounce at 145, so that could be worth noting as well. But yeah, I don't think beak wetting is a bad idea, just given how strong that resistance has been. Also, I want to quickly talk about my Nvidia trade earlier. So I'm still down in the day because of my first Nvidia trade, which is entirely my own fault, and that Tesla move, which I'm still happy I took. But Nvidia, I want to talk about this. So I was waxing poetic with the 948.50. Then I got involved too early this first time. I didn't even wait to see it try 948.50. I said 948. Yeah, that was a mistake. The second time, I watched us get to 949, watched us get to 948.50. We reject. I was like, okay, Adara, this is your point of entry. Tried to get 948.50. Nvidia said no. I said, you know what? Okay, I'll give you 948s. I'll risk into 948.50. I wanted minimum 947s. That's exactly what I got. So very happy with this trade. Still down on the day and down on this name, but again, this is the type of trading I need to be doing where I'm kind of having, I was willing to take all the way into 946. We struggled with 947, so I said, Adara, say au revoir to Nvidia, say goodbye, and get out of Dodge. So that's what I did with NVDA. Still looking at Lilly, which is seeing an interesting chop and turn around VWAP. And again, I know I used to trade Lilly kind of flagrantly, especially in the sim, but I've not traded it since going live. It has a great catalyst with that China GLP-1 approval. So that's what I'm going to keep an eye on.
All right, I got into the dead one, Apple, for a 10-period retracement. I am very cognizant of the fact that it's setting up for a possible double top. I'm going to risk 10 pennies for that 192.25 out. I was looking for a 10-period hold here on a lighter retracement. We did a 20-period retracement here, or you can make the argument it was a VWAP. So I was looking for a shallower retracement at the 10. It comes, it doesn't. We'll get stopped out through the break of the $0.25, and then I'll be looking for a 192 possible hold up here, which is the whole dollar level, obviously, but it is also the volume weighted average price. Apple having a hell of the day. It looks like that share buyback program's been put on overdrive over there in, where are they at? Cupialto? Where are they? Cupertino, Cupialto. Get it together, Sheree.
I like you married Palo Alto and Cupertino. I like it. I like it.
Sorry. Yeah. My brain is all over the place. Anyway, looking for a pop here on AAPL, looking into that $0.50 level on Apple there. I want to remind you guys that we have an entirely new segment between 2 and 2:20. So typically what ends up happening is Brendo and I get up at the big desk, the big kahunas sit to our right over here, and we go through the same rundown that we do between 9 to 9:30, right? So that's all over. Now you guys are gonna control what we talk about from 2 to 2:20. You'll be able to vote for your favorite ticker, whether it's Tesla, whether it's Apple. I just got stopped at Apple. Speaking of that, whether it's Google, whatever you guys want, you'll be able to do it super easy. All you got to do is hit exclamation point, write in the word join, space, put the $ and the ticker that you want. I'll show you how it is in a second. You'll be able to vote every day between 1 to 150 for the stocks that you want us to talk about between 2 to 220. So you guys are now in control of that. I just want to let you know, and we'll be talking more about that as the show goes on. Just to remind you, it was met well with over, I think, like 1,200 votes yesterday. So that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, not a bad look there. Apple on the way down here, Ram, breaking into the 20 period. I'm going to see, first of all, does it hold up at the 20 period on the 5, which is right where we are right now, or does it want a deeper retracement into that 192? Again, I'm very cognizant of the possible double top that it put at 192 2/3. That's where Neil wet his beak on some profit. Shout out to him. Great trade for Neil there. I'm going to be looking at how to weasel my way in again.
Yeah, we are certainly lots of weaseling there. I did myself weasel a little bit into to Tesla. I've noticed that it's kind of been moving inverse with the future. So when you have a little bit of the future, the Qs. So I've noticed when you have a pop up in the Qs, you have a pop down in Tesla.
Yeah.
You have a pop down in the Qs, you have a pop up in Tesla. Which is why I initially tried to go short when I saw that move down in the Qs, and then I realized, hey, Dara, you have to do the opposite. Case in point, right now the Qs are breaking lower and Tesla's trying to break above 179. So I'm just going to be playing this throughout the day. If I know this isn't really the type of trade I do, but I mean, I love scalping, so why not? If I see that pop up in the Qs, I'm shorting Tesla. If I see a pop down in the Qs, I'm going long Tesla. I think it could just be crazy enough to work. Also, speaking of EVs, I want to say a thank you to our lovely sponsors here at VinFast. Attention, electric vehicle enthusiasts. VinFast has teamed up with automotive giant Bosch to give you access to a massive network of 700,000 charging points across 30 European countries. That's right, with this partnership, you can now embark on epic European road trips with confidence, knowing you'll always have a charging station nearby. The VinFast app and in-car system will make locating, charging, and paying at Bosch's vast network a breeze. Plus, you'll stay ahead with the latest charging tech and top-notch customer support. Get ready to conquer Europe and your VinFast EV like never before. So thank you so much, VinFast. Much appreciated there. But yeah, so if I trade Tesla, it will be pretty VinFast. There will be in and out. It will be scalps. And yes, is it kind of maybe weird to take trades based on the inverse of the future? Sure, but you got to do what the markets give you. And right now, the markets are giving me some bizarre counter trend Tesla trade. I don't know. It's happening, and all I have to do is just take advantage of it. So that's what I'm trying to do.
I like it.
Oh, you're in 2 trades right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm still holding that XPEF trade. That's done nothing for a while. I'm going to leave it. Ponzi Fonzie. Yeah, you're a joker, bro. I like Pons. He's good vibes. I'm like, guys, don't vote until 1 to 150. What does Pons do? He starts voting. I know you heard me, Ponzi. Guy. Anyway, back in that Apple trade, I'm going to look to add at 192.05. So I'm just going to hold on to this. That's what I'm going to do there. So Elon, would XPEV look downtrend like a bear flag, or do you believe $9 support? Good question, actually, Pons. It could be a bear flag, absolutely, because yeah, that's what it is, a big down move and a sideways thing. Or we could start getting that kind of rounded bottom that the NOS boss talks about. We'll find out, we'll find out, Elon. So we'll see if we get that $9 break and hold below, or we start curling back up. It looks like the volume has really taken a nosedive here. We were doing about 4 million shares at the top there per 5-minute candle. Now we're down to about 500,000. So we'll keep eyes on XPEV. Hard to figure out exactly what this is going to do, especially since rounding out here. But I'm going to pack my patience with this name. So that's the look on both of those. I did get back into Apple because I put in a hammer candle at the 20. I could have had a better price, but that's all right. Let's see what else everybody's talking about. People are talking about the Zon, Amazon. All right, Amazon, please. That's very polite. Says Yaz. Let's have a look at the Amazon for him. This could be also a bear flag, Yaz. This is what they kind of, big down move, and then a sideways consolidation with a clear bottom there at 181, maybe 183/4, thereabouts. Yeah, look, this is selling off because of the delay, I guess, in picking up the H100s. I guess they want the Blackwell chips. Maybe works better for what they have planned there. In any event, kind of an interesting time to want to announce that the day before Nvidia's earnings. So I found that a little peculiar and a little eyebrow raising. I don't have a trade on this one other than to say that a possible range is being established right now on Amazon with 182 to the high side and generally 181 to the low side, but you do get these wicks above 182 and below 181. So make sure if you're going to play that range, you are keeping, you are aware of that range, and you're going to play the, you're going to place your stops in the appropriate area. So another bottoming tail candle came in here on the dead one Apple as it comes into that 20 period, and it seems like there's a bit of a tug and war happening right now between buyers and sellers at set 20 period. We're 1 penny out of the money at the moment, but I do like the fact that these candles are showing that buyers are trying to push them up. Whether or not they win at those levels and it starts curling, an entirely different story. So I'm going to pack my patience on Apple, see what we get, maybe something at that $0.50 area or something there.
Yeah, I am trying to see what we get in Nvidia. I went long because I know I was like 948.50, 948.50, da 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 da. I love that 948.50 level as resistance. So when it flipped to support, like look at these little bounces. I said, Adara, come on, man, come on. So I got long. I'm gonna get out here. We could break above 950s, but that's really not my type of trade. Or if it is my type of trade, it would not be my type of trade in Nvidia, if that makes sense. Like I'm not going to take this type of breakout on Nvidia, especially when my successful trades on this are usually just from scalping. Got a little bit lower here. I'll get out at 949s. I'll be pleased as punch. I was risking into that 948 area, so it's a little bit disappointing. Hopefully I don't end up paper handing this because I would be displeased as punch. I want to see us bounce off that 948.50. That was my level of entry. It is a level that I found really fascinating, but I don't want us to flip this back from support back into resistance because I mean, who wants that? Not me. But yeah, so I should have maybe gotten out of this a little bit earlier, but you know, we did what we could, and I didn't have a reason to leave yet, which is why I didn't. And with this spread in Nvidia, it's something you have to be cognizant of. Also, I've kind of given up my weird counter trend Tesla versus Qs play for now because Tesla's decided it actually wants to be friends with the Qs now. It's like it heard me say that and it's like, oh, you want me to keep doing that? No, I'm good. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, Tesla, that's fine. I'm gonna be focusing on your Mag 7 cousin Nvidia because I like what's happening here way more anyway. So we're gonna keep seeing this bounce. If I get 50 cents in this, I'll be pleased as punch. It's Nvidia. Sometimes you have to scalp, take your profits. And I'm also really proud of myself for not giving up after that first questionable trade that I had in this. Is because I think for me, like I don't view my subsequent trades on this as revenge trades because that first trade was, I mean, yeah, it was really questionable. I should have waited. The point of entry was but A, the idea was not incorrect. And B, like I got out of it accordingly. I feel like usually I'm more prone to revenge trades when I manage it really badly. You know what I mean? Because having ideas is one thing. You have to execute the ideas you have. Of course, the ideas could be better, right? But it's like, for me, as long as you get out of it mostly unscathed, you know, you're like Jason Bourne hopping out of the vehicle, or I don't know, Vin Diesel or whatever, then I feel like things are, I usually feel a little bit better. That's my own personal thing. And I've talked about this a lot. I think revenge trading really is going to depend on the person. I don't like what we're doing here though on NVDA, so I might have to scalp this out flat just because okay, yeah, I don't think so. I think maybe we're getting a change in the tides, to quote the guy next to me, Sharif. Yeah, we got out of this. I just didn't like how we were waffling at that 948 on the book, so I got out. And it is what it is. Took a couple pennies, so please as punch. Also, thank you so much to Kyle Burdett, suggesting a very unusual ticker here. Oh, here's $2 super chat. Join $TACHE. Join Stash. So thank you very much.
He told me my mustache was looking powerful today.
I like
so I was appreciative of his comments.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's a compliment. I think he's like pro Stash over here. Shout out to Kyle Burdett, always with the funny super chats. Big Kyle, are you making any big trades?
Not big, Adara, but you know, we'll do what we can. A few pennies in the money on said Apple trade, but I do like the hammer candles, the bottoming tail candles that they're putting in on 5-minute chart right now. So packing my patience, looking to wet my beak on the break of 40s. The other trade that just popped up, not surprised that there was no follow through. That's the second time XPEV has done that, where it's left $9 by some margin. I think it popped up into 16s. I saw everybody getting excited in the chat that it was kind of curling back up. Alas, it comes right back down to play that same range, a few pennies below 9, maybe 10 or 15 above 9. I don't know if that may be foreshadowing anything, not making any suggestions, but just, you know, giving you some food for thought there. Keep your eye out on this name. I'm going to continue to hold the remaining amount that I have left. I'd ideally like maybe a VWAP touch, but I think that might be a little ambitious at this level here. If I can get something maybe in the 30s, I think that would be really good. Go Apple, go. Right back into the, on the curl, goes Apple into 192, low 40s. I'm looking for something around the $0.50. We'll see here. This is what I'm looking at, and this is what got me right back into the trade after getting stopped out on Apple. I tried a 10-period retracement. The market said too shallow. So I went 20, and the market said just right. So we'll see if we start curling up here. These are the two candles that I'm kind of emphasizing. The fact that they dipped down into the 20, buyer said, nuh-uh, we want it a little bit higher today, and then they pushed it back. We'll see if we can get something around, again, the 50 penny area. If ideally, I'd like high day, but, you know, yeah, it's tougher to do. Big Kyle Burdett was pointing out to me that the Meta was on the way down. And so I just pointed out to him that there was possible support at generally that 465 area owing to the IB low there, right at 465. Where'd it go into? Got to 465.12, I think. 11, 465.11. We're at 465.02 right now, trying to maintain that 465 level. We've already printed lower, but it's a $400 name, so you know you're going to get prints below the whole dollar. 464.80 at the moment is LOD on META. To go green, we got to get up right into that 469er area in order to reestablish Greensville on Meta. So I'm going to be watching Meta. I'm looking, you know, call me crazy, but I'm looking for a possible curl back up here, Big Kyle, especially if we can maybe get this candle a little hammerish or bottoming tailish, showing us that the buyers are stepping in here. I'll be looking maybe for something back into 466, ideally, maybe even 466.5. That is if the long is in play, but if the short's in play, that's fine. The soft one has just moved up into high of days. Again, Microsoft 430.5 HOD there, Katina man. Great look there for Softy on the day, holding the 10 period like a dang glove. That magnetic effect that the one that Knob always talks about, really in full display right now on Softy, as this one's got no desire whatsoever to print anything lower. New high day as I speak right now, 430.70, 75. It's continuing to pump here. Someone's buying up a storm on Microsoft. Here comes 431. Here is 431 on the soft one. Great. What is going on with Softy? This thing's uninterrupted. 1.4% now. I'm looking for anything here newer on Microsoft. Nvidia, what the hell is this? Here it is. Nvidia, what is this? It completes pricing power circuitry. This is just coming in right now. I don't know if this is Microsoft related, but Microsoft got one hell of a pump on this. Did Nvidia do anything right now?
Yeah, unfortunately it bumped a little bit.
It bumped, yeah. Well, there's a headline that just came out here on the video. So for whatever reason, the soft one started going as well. I'm not really sure what to make of that. Almost 432. Look at this candle here on Microsoft from 429.75 to 431.75. In 1 minute candle. This is the biggest candle that's printed on the day, Greensville. So good look here for Softy while we cover that live for you guys. Apple right back down into the 20 period here after moving up into 44s. Decision time. Have to see if I'm going to get out of this trade.
Yeah, so Nvidia, you initially had the long, then I didn't like what I was seeing on the book. Turns out, actually, had we not had that pump, I think that trade would have probably worked out. So I got back in the short here. I'm just hoping we stay below this not hopium. I'm looking for a move below that, staying below that 949.50s. And I say that because we had to move back above 949's 50s, which is why I got out. And then we kind of came right back down. So I said, you know what? I think that could have just been a news-related pump. Initially, though, the short would have worked had I just set my orders properly, which I didn't. I wasn't prepared. And with the spread in Nvidia, you really do have to stay ready to get ready, or otherwise Nvidia is going to laugh in your face. And that's what happened to me. I'm just going to have to get back out of this. So risk about 50 pennies, what have you. Slightly down in the name, slightly down in the day, but I've really been trying to hone in on my trading. You know what? I don't regret any of these trades. I regret maybe a little bit the management on that short, because I could have taken my 50 pennies instead of just getting a little bit chopped up by the spread. But you know what? As much as this is such a cliche, it is what it is. And of course, would I like to be profitable? Oh, sure. But you also don't have profit if you don't trade anything either. And it's, you know, like you have to figure out what type of trader you are. For me, as much as, you know, sometimes I'll take losses on these, I find I am the most successful when I do trade my mega cap. So I'm just gonna keep working on that. And I still like my levels I like, and we're gonna see what happens. Because, you know, you gotta be optimistic too. AMC, lots of mentions here. Lots of people want to AMC what's happening in AMC. So, okay, this is a nice look.
Hey.
People are mentioning roundy bottom. I don't know if I'd say roundy bottom. I would say massive VWAP bounce is what I would say for AMC, as the guy to my right sometimes calls it. Look at this VWAP bounce here at that 473-esque. Nice pop up. Higher highs, higher lows, basically since, actually going back to about 10 a.m. we started seeing this. So that's a really great look. Gorgeous look. Then also, another meme-ish name, Jacob Fletcher, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. FFIE, volume is down significantly. Are people holding as it is about to pop? The Reddit volume is huge. Yeah, I don't know. It's a little harder to tell, like, if things are about to happen, right? I was mentioning, yeah, like I said, this 150 area could be spicy. Someone earlier was saying, like, would this be a profit-taking area? And again, we don't give advice, just our takes in the chart. But I said that 150 could be a bit of an area of resistance, especially if you look at how it was kind of support in the pre, right? I think it could pop, but I think also it could just be some rotation out of some of these quote-unquote memeier names. You know what I mean? Like your AMCs, your GMEs. We can't really say what for sure it's going to do, right? I mean, I see what you mean. We could be kind of consolidating here at that area for a pop-up, but I don't want to make any predictions. I will say that the area we're at, this 150, is really interesting, especially with that VWAP bounce and generally higher lows. But you know, just because people are talking about Reddit doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to see that impact come on the chart. Again, you know, I'm sure I'll say this and then we'll have that move, but you know what? Just looking at what I'm seeing right now. Also, Nvidia, you really just came back down, huh? Good times, good times. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at Apple. It's coming into VWAP here, so I've got an order out at 192.05 to get long. It's not making the dip down, so my frugality, is that a word?
I think so.
Okay, good. We're going to go with it. Is getting the better of me again because I was sitting right at VWAP. Well, maybe I'll get printed because it's still coming down. So 192, I'm looking to defend the whole dollar level as well as the volume weighted average price. Again, I see the double top possibly here at 192 and 2/3. We'll have to see if that's a legit double top or whether it's just a, you know, intraday market noise. So at 05s right now on the bid, it's got a cross for me to get filled. I'm seeing 6s on the ask, 5 on the bid. There we go, we got filled. So now is a make or break time. So how does this play out? I'm gonna give this about 10 pennies worth of range. Maybe a little bit more than that. So we'll go 191. We'll sit at like the low 90s or something like that, and we'll look to get out if it continues to print to the downside. So long Apple looking for a 192 VWAP defend at those levels. Topping till candles though coming in on Softy after it got that big day midday move there into 431.75. I'm still not really seeing a headline on Softy. My assumption is, for whatever reason, it just moved with that Nvidia. Oh, here it is. Now this makes more sense. Nvidia Corp expands collaboration with Microsoft to help developers build, deploy AI applications faster. Okay, that makes more sense. We did get an Nvidia headline midday there, but it was moving with Softy, so I didn't really understand that. That makes everything a little bit clearer now. So we'll keep eyes on Softy. Obviously, some topping till candles coming in. 431 3/4 hasn't been able to break 432, but these are just 2 candles, so don't put too much stock into that. Let's keep an eye on the price action. I'll be looking for something good there. Let's put a profit taker over here on the dead one. We'll see what we get there. What else we got? What else we got? What are you guys looking at? AMC. Everyone's yelling about AMC, so we're going to have to oblige everybody. Let's go over to AMC and see what's good. Okay, so topping till candle through 5 into 512-ish, 511-ish, and right back into 5 now. Do we hold the whole dollar level or do we get some bamboozlement? I want to keep an eye on this 494, 495 area. We crested out there before coming back into that 480 at VWAP and then breaking it eventually. So look for previous areas of resistance to act as support. We'll see. Nice move up right now on AMC. Let's see if it can hold 5. I think that will be kind of, that will be the move here if it can hold 5 and continue to pump. Otherwise, I don't know. We might get a Christmas tree retracement. What do they call that? What does that, Randy, call that? Christmas tree retracement. Yeah, so we'll see. AMC moving, guys, up 4%. This one had a good day yesterday, especially into the close. So look for possibly day number 2. I had friends messaging me about GME and AMC, and again, I never really know what to tell them because I don't want to sound like a suit because I'm not, and I don't want to have them punch and then lose money and then me feel bad.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean? Like,
you can't really win.
no.
Yeah,
right?
Really
it's a little bit of a tough one there, but I said to him, like, look, hey, man, you know, do your thing, but, you know, there may be stronger, bigger money that doesn't like your position. All right, doing well here on the dead one, 10 pennies in the money. It does hold VWAP. Let's see if we can get something into the $0.25 a day.
Yeah, I just tried another thing with Nvidia. I think we keep flipping on me, and I think now it is a short, and I went against my instinct to go short because I burned in the last 2 shorts. And so again, I want to shout out, I think it was Big Rob in the chat a couple of days, or yesterday, not a couple of days ago, saying that, you know, like instincts, once you've learned enough, it's really about instincts. And I just don't trust mine enough, and that's like not great. And I need to work on that. And the other thing I want to work on too, and in case you're wondering, like, Adara, why are you beating this dead horse here in Nvidia? It's because I know my levels are working. I know the ideas are right. I know the issue is execution. How do you improve execution if not by trying to execute? Do you know what I mean? Sorry for the intense inflection, but it's how I feel. So it's like, if your issue is execution, just try to execute better. Do you know what I mean? I think, and maybe that's like kind of a cliche platitude or a truism or what have you, but I do think that there is, to be redundant here, a little bit of truth to that, because it's like, if your issue is how you're executing the trades, think about what's wrong with your execution. I know what's wrong with my execution. I'm not trusting myself enough, and also, I'm not setting my profit takers the second I get in. That's what burned me on at least 2 of these, because with the spread in Nvidia, you've got to be ready to get out Nvidia. So that's my issue, and I'm going to stop waxing poetic about this, but I just want to say that I think it's important to reflect on why things are going wrong. And with that in mind, Nvidia, I see you. I'm going to take your 948 short, but I'm not going to rush into you. So that's why I'm trying to say that. Joanna Brewster agreeing with me that it's turning short, and I say that because shout out to Joanna Brewster. I know you're always trading those chips, so hopefully you're getting some chips with the dip or chips with the rip. Either direction, shout out to you. But yeah, this Nvidia, to me, resistant, like this 948, I've been yapping about this forever because it keeps being a level. But earlier today, that's where we got that big catalyst with regards to Amazon. For the record, Financial Times saying that Amazon is delaying their orders till we get the new Nvidia chip. So big move down here at 948. Then we come back and we see a little bit of a bounce at 948, and now we're rejecting. So I think, you know, to me, it is a little bit of a flippity level, so I want to take that short. Also, Tesla back to doing the opposite of what the futures do, so that could be a thing, but keep in mind we're still bouncing off VWAP and T to the S to the L to the A, so I definitely want to keep an eye on that. Big, bold action execution, says Diggle Boy with this emoji, so shout out to him. You've got to trade. You definitely got to trade strong and keep lifting those weights, and that's why I say I want to work on execution because you really can't improve your execution unless you're executing. What else is everyone looking at? Let us know in the chat. AMD says, Herbie, I like your name. Let's take a look at AMD.
Pushback. She did the pushback.
That VWAP bounce is pretty nice.
She did the pushback. I saw
that's
her.
my thing. I do the pushback in the chair. But yeah, so to be clear, slightly lower highs here and kind of a roundy top. VWAP bounce isn't bad. I'd be more tempted to take this short and then just get out at VWAP because we do have that general curl down. Massive resistance. Putting the massive resistance in AMD here for that M. But we keep resisting at 164.75. That will be a level I will be looking out for. And yeah, Nvidia, I think I might come back over and hang out with you and see if I can get that execution right, because that's what matters.
Sorry, I'm just typing. All right, no, I'm done. Yes, Microsoft's going, guys. Microsoft is absolutely flying. It's 432.5 now. It's up 1 2/3. I see it. It's an Nvidia headline, baby. There is going to be a collaboration between Nvidia and Microsoft. The market loves it. It's eating it up. Microsoft right now, Ram is at days highs. It's almost at 433, 432.73. It's been uninterrupted. To the high side here on the back of that news. I see it. It's kind of hard for me to trade it using my system without just punching in willy-nilly. I need a retracement of sorts. If it comes into 430, or not even just 430, at least a 10 period, maybe 431. It's getting so extended away from the 10 period. The 10 period's hanging out at 431, the 5. This thing's almost at 433 now. Jeez Louise, this thing is going softy, very strong on the back of that AI news with NVDA. Is this all-time highs?
Microsoft?
Yeah. Okay. Yes, this is all-time high. Softy at the current level. ATH, baby. All-time highs is Softy at the moment. What a recovery from that earnings. I don't want to even call it an earnings miss because it really wasn't a miss. When we dipped down to 390, that feels like a long time ago. Sorry for the charts. Those are pivot points there that are distorting the charts. I do apologize about that. We'll get back into the 5-minute look here. All right. Before I talk about FFIE, because that's going as well, I did finish my trade there on AAPL. I'm really proud of this trade because I did get bottom wick here, and I did look to take it out at the $0.25. I got filled on both, so I am happy with this Apple trade. And I did stop out previously. I stopped out for the remaining balance for a little bit of a loss, but we wet our beak nicely on the initial pump there. So AAPL holding that 192 volume weighted average price, but it's slower to curl up this time than it was last time. So keep your eye on Apple. It's obviously been strong lately. If you'll recall, there is a $150 billion share buyback program that this company is going to institute. You know, when they buy, how much they buy, and, you know, at what price. Obviously, a little bit of a mystery. They don't telegraph that. But just know that that's the biggest share buyback program in the history of share buyback programs. Elizabeth Warren must be livid. That's all I know, because she hates share buyback programs.
Oh, yeah.
So keep your eye on said Apple. Now, let's go to FFIE, because that one is in a big move up. This is the daily on FFIE. We're below 2 at the moment. Let's go to the 5. Let's view it from the lens of the 5 first. Okay, so we're back above the volume weighted average price, which is hanging out at $1.43. To go green on the day, we got to get above 180. So reclaim the 200. We've reclaimed VWAP. We really just need that 180-ish level in order to get green. That was also a bit of an area top yesterday. At least it was in the afternoon. So that $1.80 featured once, twice, yes, and OB thrice at that 180 level yesterday. That came in at around that was like 545 or so when we topped out there last. It ended up going a little bit higher than that in the final minutes there of trading at 745 or so, but that's on lighter volume. So FFIE, fantastic look. Let's keep an eye out on this one. If it breaks 180, I'm definitely going to want to know about it. So here we go. We're attaching the alert, and we're going to be made known if FFIE goes to green today, there.
Yeah, we had a bit of a move down there in the futures. Thank you so much, Neil, for putting that in the chat. I've been having some issue. I'm going to see if I can reload my Benzinga Pro because I was having a little bit of a struggle with that earlier today. But basically, thank you, Neil, for putting this in the chat. Fed's bar. We still need to finish the job on inflation. Need to sit tight for longer than we previously thought. Interest rate risk will continue. So we had Waller earlier today being like, I don't think a cut or a hike's going to be happening. And then Barr's like, yeah, actually, we're still going to be, you know, waiting to see here. But yeah,
is that why we got that dip on the future?
Yeah, that's why we got that little dip. We recovered actually pretty nicely. Yeah. But you know what is funny? In my brain, I was like, Adara, the only trades you should be taking during Fed speak are shorts. I can't say I intentionally did that with this NVIDIA, but I'm really proud of what I did here, and I want to talk about it. So I think part of the thing, like I said, my biggest issue with these NVIDIA trades has not been the ideas. The ideas have been generally solid. The issue has been the execution. What was the issue with the execution? I wasn't placing my orders immediately. And in a spreading name like NVIDIA, that spells trouble. So basically, then it was like, well, Adara, why are you doing that? And I realized it was because I was being greedy. I wanted to see if we could go any lower. Don't do that, Adara. Don't be greedy. Don't be the Ariana Grande song or the Tate McRae song. Just do what you have to do. And so that's why with NVIDIA, I specifically chose this level I really liked, 946.80s-ish, because look where we had that resistance and that support. I said 946.80s, get your $1.20, get out, risk to 948.50s. Really proud of how I executed this trade, but I'm more proud, not of the execution, but that I realized what the issue was. The issue wasn't with my ideas, because I tend to be very hard on myself. The approach to the trade was fine, but it wasn't how I was executing the trade. That's obviously a huge piece. That's what you're actually doing in the trade. And that was the part that was the issue. So proud that I solved the problem. Hopefully I can continue to kind of build and grow from this, because that would definitely make me pretty happy here. Tesla, if you dip as the futures pop, which I think you might do, that could be definitely of interest to me. Yeah, 1320 Wolf, there's certainly been a lot of Fed speak as of late. I want to take a look at a lot of Fed speakers sending things to the downside. You know, Kashkari used to be king Fed for sending things to the downside, but now Mester's like, oh, what about me? Mester sent the market down twice, once on Thursday, and then last week we got that move down. No, yesterday we got that move down from Mester in the afternoon as well.
We did.
Yeah, so Mester, don't mess with Mester.
Loretta.
Yeah, Loretta.
Turn it around.
Yeah, turning the market, Loretta. But also, I'm pretty sure she has red hair, so it's pretty fun too.
She does.
But AMZN says Rivian Millionaire. Which I love that name. We do have these higher lows. I totally agree with you that stair set up. I think we can, much like FFIE, I think we have kind of a clear resistance area. I think FFIE is a little bit clearer. Amazon's going to be kind of in between that 181, 80 and 182 area, but I do like the fact that we're bouncing off VWAP. We have these higher highs. AMZN could be delivering an express trip long, but I'm not sure yet. We got to wait and get a little bit more confluence.
I like it. Mara's on the way down. I see you guys talking about that. It's making lower lows and lower highs. It is a bit of a downward channel. If the platform will allow me, because Mara takes a hot minute to load on this chart. Oh, nice. Okay, made me look bad. Here's what I'm talking about, guys. This is nice. This is real nice here. If you're looking for, I don't want to say a calm trade, because the second I say that, this thing's going to pop or drop, right? But the point is to see that this is making a downward channel with, I don't want to say predictably lower highs and lower lows, but right now it seems as if it's predictable. But this is always in hindsight, so it may not stick to this range. It looks like here, to the high side, the 20 period on the 5, the 20 period exponential is acting as a good level of resistance. You'll see that here, the solid yellow line on my chart. Every crest that it's come into has sold off at the 20, with the worst or the biggest breach coming here at 9:40 to be expected, because that's the most volatile time of the day. And then here at the 10 o'clocks, you only get, you know, little wicks through the 20, and then even smaller here and even smaller here. So I'll be interested to short MARA at around 21 2/3. It's at 21 1/4 now. If it makes its way back into that level near the 20 period on the 5, I will be looking to get short on said name. Marathon Digital up big yesterday. I don't know, it was like 20 some odd % last time I looked. Down on the day though, to go green has got to get above 22 1/3. Interesting look for Marathon Digital right here. So we'll keep eyes on that. I also have a dip trade to defend the 10 period on the 5 on Microsoft, because that's what I'll be looking for. I need a retracement in order to get into this name. This name is so strong on the back of that Nvidia catalyst that dropped midday. So I'm looking for a 431 1/3, 431 1/2 retracement. It's at 432 and change at the moment, so that may not come in. So keeping an eye on that. I see you, Big Kyle. What's its name? Meta made a nicer low through that 465. So Big Kyle was calling out Meta at day's lows at 465 and change. It's now made a low day of 463 3/4. So Meta continues to head lower. It did the dance here a little bit at 465. Then the selling really came in. No catalyst here that I can see to justify this down move on META. But we'll keep eyes on that. Tesla, 180 incoming. Here it is, 179.87. Here is the 180. Big move up there through that 178.90, right into 179.90. So a dollar move in that 5-minute candle. And now we are knocking on that 180 level. But this has been a recycled level as of late. Like, let's not, get too excited. We broke it on the 15th. We got into 181 the 5th. But on the 17th, so on Friday, we did make our way into 180 and couldn't get through it, but now we have new high day on Tesla, 180.08. Let's see if that 180 level can hold. We've only a couple of pennies above it here. It's continuing to go. Here comes 180 1/4 on TSLA. No reason why this is running. Let me just check that real quick. We're almost 3% in the green on the day. I'm looking real quick here to see if there's anything. Oh, PepsiCo to expand its EV fleet in California with Tesla semis and Ford vans. The market likes that, baby. And Tesla coming into 181. This thing is moving 180 and 2/3 now. How many Tesla trucks are they going to order? In April, it was reported that Pepsi was using only 36 of the 100 trucks ordered. Okay, yada, yada, yada. How many are they going to order? 50. They're going to order 50 Class 8 Tesla semi-trucks and 75 Ford E-Transit electric vans at its facilities. Excuse me. This is Pepsi that's making this purchase, and that's had Tesla absolutely pop up midday there in kind of shades of softy about 10 minutes ago. On the way to 181, go Tesla, go. That is resistance level 2 there on pivots on Tesla. Now 3 1/3% in the money. 181 is about to break, guys. 180.97 HOD. Wowzers, this is a very exciting day. We just watched Softy go, now we're watching Tesla go. Who said there's no moves on the midday, Dara?
I don't know who those people are, but they certainly aren't here today. No, I'm joking.
No.
They'll still be here today, but these days, this has been such a move. Nvidia, I wanted that 947.50 short, but I'm going to have to wait because it's like a Dara. You could not just be staring at one name all day. I mean, you could, but you got a show to do. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I am proud of myself that I figured out the issue with my execution on these trades, because I think sometimes, of course, knowing's only the first step. You have to fix the problem. But happy with that trade I took, and you know, you just have to keep learning and growing. And I think part of that is through action. Again, Big Rob in the chat yesterday saying that, you know, intuition is a huge thing to learn, and I think I kind of am starting to figure that out. So take it one day at a time. American Truther, thank you very much for the $4.99 super chat. Barnes & Noble's, BNET, B-N-E-D. 36 million shares short in the last 3 days. Floated 63 mil, 18 million market cap. It could go GME mode. They're the founders of GameStop. I don't know any details on this. And unfortunately, like I said, I'm having some issues with my Benzinga. But basically, this BNED, let's take a look. Yeah, up 38% right now. Just got a really nice volume spike, breaking up that top, off the top of that 37.5. That's a nice look for BNED. I like this bounce here, 28 cents off that strong pre-market resistance. Okay, let's take a look at that daily chart. Let's see. Let's see what we've got in the books here for Barnes & Noble. Pun very intended. 104. Okay. I have things I like, so I'm just saying okay because I'm trying to, you know, get into the groove here. I think we're going to come into some resistance. Okay. We've had lower highs, and I know, to be clear, I know a lot of these meme moves are not going to be based on technicals, but I still like to look at technicals because why not? We've had lower highs here. We've also had a bit of a double top at that 225 area. I think both of those are certainly worth noting. Since this January 17th, 2024, lower high, lower high, lower high. We're trying to break that trend right now, which I think is nice, but I think in terms of resistance areas, let's break above that 50-ish area. Look at that support here. We're trying to crack above that. That'd be nice. Then this support resistance flippity flop at 75 cents. That could get really spicy. And of course, as well, are in that $1 area, not just because it's a $1 area, but look at that support resistance flip flop. To me, that's a nice look. Thank you so much, American Truther. We'll have to see if there's any truth in BNED becoming a short squeeze, but I think right now, today, certainly a nice look, and thank you very much for bringing that one to our attention. Yeah, Tesla, nice look there. I'm still trying to trade my Nvidia at some point, but if anyone else is looking at any things, we would love to see what you guys are looking. Ike Anderson kind of like making a very general point. Watch your short squeezes this week and next week. And also Kyle Burdett bringing up a name that I know we were looking a little bit last week. Shout out to big Kyle Burdett. SoFi finally lost 710. I know this is one that you do look at, Kyle. Also remembered earlier too, Kyle was saying in the chat, he loves Loretta Mester. Yeah, I wonder why she sends the market to the downside. So I'm sure you and you're Kashkari fan too, right? But no, all jokes aside, this is a great look. Look at this kind of chop. I mean, you can't really say it's a flat bottom break because it's very barcodey, but you do have these lower highs at 7-11 before we break that 710 area. Shout out to 7-Eleven. As a Winnipegger, I have to. But great volume move to the downside. Kyle Burdett, shout out to you. As Sharif always says to me, hope you print.
Yes, absolutely. Wetting my beak there on a softy trade, but it's coming down below my entry now. I'm looking for a 10-period hold here on MSFT. I could have flattened out break even on the rest, but I had a dip trade set up. So I said to myself, look, it didn't even make it into the 10 period quite yet. The 10 period's hanging out at 431. Leave the little bit that you have and allow your dip trade to get filled. That was the original trade that you wanted. This is what I'm looking at right here on Softy, guys. The green line is the 10 period. We still haven't made it down there. I front ran it because I felt like it was going to go without me, and I ended up printing on it. But that, let's call a spade, a little bit lucky because it came back down after that. So I was able to take some profits and right back into the level without getting me filled. Come on, bruh.
Also,
all right.
we do have Neil coming up there for his lesson of the day. So sorry to interrupt you there.
Because I don't even have my thing in. I didn't even realize.
That's why I was just cutting in. But hopefully that Microsoft and Apple will give Sharif two Meg 7 fills there, mega cap. But yeah, we're going to switch over and see what's happening with Neil and his lesson of the day.
See ya.
Hey everybody, welcome. Another lesson of the day here for you. And we had a couple of pre-market news stories. Both of them in the chip space. I want to go over like, hey, what happens when you drop news into a vacuum and the stock starts moving, maybe starts moving the entire market, maybe it starts moving an entire sector. How can you react to it? What's your best course of action? A lot of times when you're doing your pre-market prep or your overnight prep, you'll have directional bias potentially already embedded. You'll have key price levels that you already like. And all of that's important because you do want to make sure that you have an idea and a rough trading plan for your day. What happens when not earnings, but just a random piece of news drops in the pre-market before the open and you have to adjust on the fly? Well, first things first, don't necessarily ignore said piece of news. But there are some sort of things to look for that can aid you in your trading. First off, did the news actually move the stock? And did it move it significantly? And if the answer is yes, then it qualifies. If news comes out in the pre-market and it doesn't move the stock, then who cares? You know, you can just throw it out the window and don't even worry about it. Go back with your trade plan. Maybe have it in the back of your mind, but don't overanalyze something if it doesn't actually move the market, if it doesn't actually move the stock. So 2 pieces of news, one Micron, and then one over on Nvidia. So Micron essentially basically increasing their CapEx projections on the year from like $7.5 to $8 billion. And at the end of the day, more spending in this environment seen as a negative thing. The first thing to note is you did have a significant drop off on Micron, which was flat when the news hit and dropped a good $4 almost right away. It broke through previous days' morning support. And so it was significant, there was decent enough volume through. And at this point, you have so much time to the open because this is now just after 8 o'clock, like 8:15. You have so much time until the stock opens up that you want to pay attention to how it trades going into the open. Because one thing you have to remember is, even though it's lighter volume, in some kind of a vacuum of liquidity, big levels can start to show themselves because there's not a lot of liquidity out there. So if some big levels show themselves, you want to pay attention to them. And then on top of that, you are waiting for the open to see where the real volume is going to come in. Okay, so yes, they've sold it off here, but what does this look like when all of the volume comes at the open and those can react to the news? Do they buy it up? Do they sell it off? Don't overreact by jumping into lows at that open. You do want it to settle down. So first things you can see, there's not a lot of levels to work off of. Previous day's bottom would be 1. Now, if it had not held this on a small bounce, either you throw it out the window, but the previous day's bottom does hold as resistance right away at about 8:30. So about 15 minutes after the news comes out, you get this nice higher low at a previous key level. So when the stock opens up, you can start to look as that as a bit of a resistance level. So if you were favoring short, instead of don't sell it at the bottom, let's see what happens at the open, because they buy it right back up, but look where it starts resisting. Right underneath that previous level. So you let it get there if you want to join. Take your shots underneath that price. Once it's breaking out above, it just does not even stop. And notice, this is pretty clean, right up to the top of the gap, where it finds resistance again. So that's when the news came out in the previous close. And then right back into that bottom and that key level, which ends up being VWAP as well. So the note here, would be if it shows you a key level with any confluence, wait for that level to trade off of. If you're looking to join the trend to the short, you don't need to be jumping in at that bottom unless it shows you lower highs or a trend. At the end of the day, most of the liquidity is going to come in the open market, not the pre-market. So you want to respect some levels in the pre-market, but not just assume that it has to continue following in that direction. And that goes double for something like an Nvidia, which, by the way, also reports this week. Very similar story. Bad news in the morning, depending on how we want to look at it. Just about 9:15 or a little closer to 9:10. You had a story about Amazon pushing back some of their orders, which was seen as a negative. Nvidia drops $15. But much like Amazon, you'll see yesterday's resistance level, well, support level, turn into early resistance. But this happens right at the open. The difference being when it gets to yesterday's bottom, it also starts holding that as well. If you look at the actual reaction here on Nvidia, you see underneath yesterday's low, at the open, wick under immediately bought back up. Wick under immediately bought back up. Wick under immediately back up. It gets pretty clear if you just look at that opening trend. Hey, yeah, that's bad news, but they're buying this up clearly with the way these wicks are forming down. It'll go like $2, $3 underneath 935 and then be instantly back to the upside. So it's showing you a bit of a bullish reaction to those prices. And once it gets past the next level, remember that 940, there's your support level turning into resistance. Once it breaks that and consolidates above, off to the races. I can't stress this enough. This is a perfect example, both of these, why just because news hits to the downside, it doesn't mean you're going to trend all day. Look for actual confirmation of weakness. If this was going to short back into 940, you'd be seeing lower highs. Somewhere in here, either you're going to fail or you're going to fail back under 940. You're going to have sellers underneath 935. One of those things is going to come to fruition. When it doesn't, respect the fact that at the open, despite the pre-market negative news, the buyers were winning and showing you that they were winning pretty much the entire morning. The other thing to keep in mind, whenever you're trading something like this, it can move other names within the sector. This is a perfect opportunity when you see something like an Nvidia get negative news to start tracking some other names. There's a relative strength, there's a relative weakness. When you're seeing that level get put in down at 940 on Nvidia, my first thought was, hey, what's going on with AMD? Is it relatively weak? Now, it was holding weak. Only now is it starting to break out, but you can find yourself some great opportunities if the buyers are starting to win in stock X that had news, while stock Y, which is weak on sympathy, might show continuation. Or it could be the opposite. I mean, maybe Nvidia continues to trend down and you find something strong about AMD and higher lows, and you might like that even more than you did before. The biggest lesson here is do not overreact in the pre-market to news that is dropped and then trades on lower volume. Allow key levels to show themselves. Allow the opening range on real volume to give you an indication of what the market wants to do with that news. Too many times people get trapped at the highs or trapped at the lows, and it's a horrible place to start your day. There's nothing wrong with news throwing you a curveball and then you just step back, reassess your plan, allow it to trade a little bit, and then jump into the fray when you have a little bit more confidence. So that's your lesson of the day. Sometimes you don't want to overreact to big news. Allow the stock to trade at the open, and then take your shot. Good luck in trading, as always. Nvidia probably to the moon.
Thank you very much for that, Neil. Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Neil. Excellent, awesome, and amazing. As always, Neil Roberts, baby, every day, a little bit before noon or around noon, Neil drops his lesson of the day, so make sure to catch that. All right, as Neil was dropping hot lines, I did get stopped out of a softy long over here. So we wet our beak on some profits over here. Tried to add at the 431 defend, which was the 10 period. Alas, was not having it. I do have this dip trade set up a little bit below the $0.50 here. And the reason is I'm looking to defend, number one, the 20. Number two, there is a crest there, which shows some price action resistance around this area that we did that print right at 1035 before coming back into the 10 period. So I may get missed. It doesn't look like it's coming right back down now, but if it starts curling back up, I can chase it and get obviously a worse price. But I want to see if this trend on Softy holds up. If it comes to the 20, I'm a buyer there. The order is already in place. The other thing that I could possibly do here is wait for this current 5-minute candle to make a new high. So that would be the break and hold above 431.25. If it does that, then we can get it on the back end, as my friend Neil likes to say, while it's curling up after the 4 straight red candles to the downside after touching 433 HOD. HOD and ATH, baby, all-time highs for Microsoft on the day. I'm going to be looking again long some way, somehow. We want to play this name and see if we can get something. But I know that you are looking at something else, and so I want to throw it to you so we can talk about that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm in Tesla, and I'm aware we're near high of days. I went short. Pourquoi? You might be asking, why would you do this? Yeah, I'm asking myself a little bit. No, I'm joking. I am confident in this trade. I wouldn't have taken it if I wasn't. But I also want to recognize the sheer eyebrow raisingness of this trade, because I do get it. I got short, though, because I noticed, as Sharif pointed out, we did have that topping tail candle. Also, I've noticed Tesla and the futures kind of having a little funky relationship. Futures push to high of day, and Tesla drops a little bit. And every time we get to 182, and you just saw it here on the book, every time we get to that 182.10, Tesla has a little panic attack and goes to the downside. And I'm like, Tesla, I don't want you to be too scared. If you don't want to go above 182.10, that's okay. You can go to the downside. I'm all good with that. So, yeah, I mean, I'm aware of the risk of this position. It's very small, but again, I'm trying to practice taking stuff for reasons I like on levels I like. Is this a range trade? No, I'm trying to switch it up a little bit. You know what I mean? You can't do the same thing every day. But I'm still trying to trade based off of levels and based on, especially lately, I've been noticing how things move in tandem with the future. I keep saying the future now, because, shout out to Sharif. But as the Qs pop higher, Tesla gets a little bit lower. So I said, if I'm seeing this relationship, and keep in mind it's not always the case, then that's something I definitely want to play off of. I'm aware this is a catalyst move as well. I just want to point out, I know the DAC is very much stacked against me, but you have to have your confidence working for you, because the market is going to work against you. Everyone else is going to work against you. Yep. You have to work for you, and you have to have your levels work for you. And when they don't, you have to get out. So if we keep rejecting off 182.10, I'm going to be out. If we keep bouncing off 181.70, I might have to get out there. But the plan is to get out at 50s. I set this area. I'm not moving this area. I keep giving into greed in my live trades and trying to stay lower than 82. It's a dare. You're a scalper. Do your scalp. And get out of here. Say goodbye. So we're going to have to get out at 60s here. I don't think we're going to break any lower, and that's fine by me. You have to, again, got to do what you got to do, got to be comfortable, got to be patient. Nvidia on the way. That's MVDA, which is not a ticker. NVDA, Bryce pointing out Nvidia. Yes, a great look here, pushing up above. Second I saw us decisively above that 184, it went for 184. Wow, I'm sounding like I'm talking about Tesla. 148, I was like, yeah, no, I think or 948, I was like, Nvidia's on the way up. Let's see what we do here at that 954 area. That could be certainly an interesting area for Nvidia around that pre-market high. But Nvidia it looks like it's continuing to go up, and I think it will be, of course, one to watch heading into its earnings report tomorrow. Let's see what Jensen Huang and co are giving everybody there. How are you looking?
Good. Not in anything. I'm looking at Microsoft right now because I'm looking at what it's doing. It's holding this 431 area, but it's really not catching a bid in the way that you would really want to see. So I'm unsure what to do at this level. It looks a little bit weak here. It looks like maybe this 1 minute, this 5 minute candle that went green is it kind of a dead cat bounce? I don't know, but the trend is strong. It's up 1 1/3. We caught a headline, this, that, and the other. We printed all-time highs. So I want to see if it can break through that 431.25 to make a 5 minute candle to make a new high. Otherwise, I really don't know. I already have the order there to defend that 430 and a third, which is where the 20 period is hanging out on the 5 minute. It's not making its way down there. It looks like, this could be a hold at 431, or we could quadrunk off this level. We still haven't made another 5 minute candle to make a new high. We're still ensconced within the price action of the previous candle. So I'm going to continue to watch that. And I'm unsure what to do at this level. So I'm going to just leave it be. Martin Starry? Message for Sean. You watching the game? Question mark. Goal! Canada versus Czechia, 1-1. So we restart here. Let's go. I don't think he's watching because I'm pretty sure he's trading. He's right next to me and he's got his hands on his keyboard. So pretty much, yeah, the answer is no, but he heard me read it out. So now he's surprised. Thank you, Martin, for, what is kroners? Are those kroners?
I think that's Czech. I don't know. I know
is it kroners?
Norway and Sweden, I know are kroners. I don't know what Czech is.
Yeah, okay, let's find out. So,
It could be a kroner. I think you are right about it being a kroner.
Let's find out what their currency is. Czech Republic currency. There we go. It is koruna. It's Koruna. Koruna.
Oh.
Awesome. So yeah, thank you very much, Martin, for that. Sean has heard the message. So yeah, go Canada. I'm not gonna, yeah, you know exactly how it is. Long softy at this level. Adara looking for that move back up on this name. Come what may, baby. Where are we long? Exactly, because the position board is covered up. We're long at 26s. We're printing 33s right now. If we can make it up into that $half level, that would be interesting. Let's keep an eye out on softy with that catalyst from Nvidia. Nvidia popping up. It actually, funny enough, it actually sold off a little bit on the news and then popped right back up. So 952.87 HOD on Nvidia. The catalyst with Microsoft is they're going to help Microsoft with their AI and some hardware stuff. We saw the Surface tablet yesterday released some cool new features on that bad boy. It's being called the MacBook killer, apparently. And you're going to be able to go back to different time periods while you were working on the computer. So say I was working at 9:30 this morning on something, I can actually scroll back into that, which I find to be super, super cool there. So in softy, we'll see exactly what we get here there.
Yeah, I'm just setting up a short in Apple because, oh my gosh, I was like, oh, I like that rejection over here. Yeah, it turns out it's VWAP because I weirdly don't have VWAP on my side charts, which is probably fixed, but realizing when I pulled this up and realized we were rejecting at VWAP, I was like, don't mind if I do. So just got involved, trying to add to this position. I want to add at 192.10. There's going to be a planned DCA. I would look at this bounce around 191.80s. This is where we're going to be getting out. I'm risking this this little wick that we had here, this kind of bounce at 192.17s. If we break above that, that's where I'll be getting out. I'm aware this position is kind of an odd little scattershot look. Didn't really prepare for it, but I do really like what I'm seeing. Microsoft looks great as well. I hope you print. Also, thank you so much to Martin Sterry for a second super chat here. Haha. In the time it took to send this super chat, Canada scored. Smiley face. Yeah,
go Canada, baby.
Go Canada. Thank you so much, Martin Sterry, for your support. 50 Czech Koruna super chat, which I love that. A couple people asking about Coinbase here, so let's take a look at Coin and see what the basis is for Coin. Let's see if we can give our 2 cents on Coin. Okay, I like this look. So people asking Coin to 300. I think right now, Coin is doing something a little bit bamboozling, to borrow Sharifism. Oh. We're kind of nudging our little head, like, you know how the cat nudges your head to get like a pet? That's what you know what I'm talking about, though. That's what Coinbase is doing at VWAP. Yeah. It's like, trying to get close there. However, we do have that potential VWAP rejection also kind of near that previous area we rejected off around 26s. But also we do have that pretty bullish wick to the downside. This could actually go either way. I don't know which way we'll end up resolving, but I think it is worth noting too, we did have our nice little bounce, a bit of a roundy bottom here, 11.05. We start seeing higher highs, higher lows. So this could resolve either way. I think it's worth noting that we do have that VWAP rejection in confluence with that 226 rejection earlier. Let's take a look at the daily on Coinbase. I know a lot of these Bitcoin names will kind of run in tandem with Bitcoin, but that doesn't mean they can't have technicals. Ooh. Okay, 235. That to me looks like an area of resistance for Coinbase. Look how many times we've tried to get above it and we've failed. We have broken above that previous support resistance flip-flop here. It's not perfect. It's kind of around that 221. So I guess 221 did do things for Coinbase because it did kind of push above it, which I think is a nice look. Then I think our next resistance level is going to be that 260, 275. We're going to get into 283. I think first you have to break, though. You have to take it one step at a time. I think if we break above that, what is this, 235-ish area, then I think we could maybe see a little bit of a flip. Also, I want to talk about Tesla because I mentioned it in the chat, but I didn't mention it on the show. I'm really proud of myself for this because this was, like I said, I've really been trying to build intuition. And for some reason, my intuition told me to take Tesla short at high of day on a catalyst. But I want to clarify, we didn't jump into it too much. I did wait for us to test that area above 182 and fail, right? So I had a little bit of waiting. And I wanted to get out 181.60s because initially I wanted 181.50s, but we stalled a little bit. So got out there. If we keep ranging, I'll keep taking this short. But basically, I think sometimes you also have to listen to yourself and not what you're worried other people will think. I knew I was like, people are going to think I'm like cuckoo for taking this trade, but it's like, it's not, it's not about other people's opinions. It's about how you feel in the trade. And I honestly wasn't even that stressed in this trade, which for me is kind of a milestone. As if you're comfortable in the trade, if you have your own personal reasons for taking the trade that's set up, you got to do what you got to do. So I want to talk about that TSLA. Yeah, proud of what happened there. Apple, let's keep taking that crack to the downside. MacBook killer, you say, said someone in the chat, and also
yeah, I'm personally not calling it.
No,
that.
I know you're just saying.
But some other people who were reviewing it yesterday, tech reviewers, The Verge, were also calling it that yesterday. So you can go have a look at it, make your own opinion, but I think, again, somebody mentioned there in the chat, I'm not sure who it was, it really is the ecosystem with Apple, but that's not the only reason. They have excellent hardware, let's be honest. Let's get to the lesson du jour. We are talking about the measured move all week. Today, we get a little bit more nuance. We talk about true range and average true range and how to use them within the measured move tactic. So this lesson dives in, as I just prefaced, true range and average true range to identify intraday trends, helping you navigate the dynamic world of short-term trading. So let's get right to it. So true range is kind of like a mathematical concept, so just bear with me here while we give you the foundation for this, and then we'll go on to talk about the actual trade. So imagine a stock is bouncing between high and low prices throughout the day. The true range goes beyond the simple difference between these two and captures the market's overall momentum. Here's how to calculate it. First and foremost, your first figure, the current high minus the current low. This will give you the standard price range, okay? Current high minus current low. You're only going to take one of these numbers, so don't feel like you have to add them up or combine them. Or the absolute value of the current high minus the previous low. Or the absolute value of the previous close minus the current low. So what you're going to do with one of these numbers, not all three, the true range will equal the highest value among these three calculations. So whatever the highest of these monsters is, you're going to take as your TR, your true range. And the TR, it considers not only just the daily high and low, but also how the price moves relative to the previous day's close, providing a more comprehensive picture. And that's why you have previous close over here versus previous close over here. You're combining those with the current day's price action kind of to encapsulate that whole thing. So that's how you calculate true range. This features later. Now, this is a visual representation of how to do that. It's a lot more, visually pleasing than the 1, 2, 3 that I just put out. So if you want to use this, you're more than welcome to screenshot away. So average true range. Now we talked about TR. Now how about ATR? So the TR is just a snapshot, right? But trends happen to emerge over time. So you don't want to look at TR because TR only looks at 1 day at a time. But trends don't just happen over the span of 1 day. As I said, they emerge over time. So this is where ATR comes in, the average true range. It's a technical indicator that smooths out the volatility by averaging the true range values over a chosen period. The default period for ATR is 14 days. So if you have a charting program like I do on any one of your programs there, and you go into ATR, you're going to see typically the default value in there is 14. So over a period of 14 trading days, right? So just the gist of it is ATR equals the average of the previous period's TR values. And the previous periods are going to be 14 typically. So you'll take the high of the numbers that I gave you previously, and then you'll add them up together and then divide by 14 or whatever you've chosen as your default range for ATR. And here is kind of a bit of a blurry picture here with ATR relative to price action. So using TR and ATR for intraday trends. So the higher TR, so a rising true range, is indicating increasing volatility. This could be a signal that the trend is beginning or it's strengthening, depending really on the context. So if there was no trend prior to that, you could view it as at the beginning of the trend. If the trend was already in play and the TR starts going up, you can look at it as the trend is catching a bid, getting some strength there. Lower TR, though, a little bit different. A falling TR suggests decreasing volatility. This could indicate a trend's end or the potential of a consolidation period forming. So two different looks there. It doesn't mean that it's going to become a downtrend. No. So falling TR within a trend means that the trend could be coming to an end or a new period of consolidation. Looking at Mara here, guys, because Mara's catching a bit of a bounce. I'm trying to see if it's still within the range. It seems like it's breaking out of the range, so I'll have a look at that after. And ATR is a filter, so using average true range as your filter, right? So don't jump into every quick trade. Use ATR to gauge the normal price movement for that stock. So if the price makes a significant move exceeding a multiple of the ATR, for example, twice the ATR, it's suggesting to you a stronger trend compared with a move, compared to a move within the ATR range, which could just be noise. So what it's telling you here is if you're using ATR, don't just look to see if it's trading within one standard deviation of its ATR. Look for several different multiples of that to see, okay, this is an outsized day for this name. And that's kind of how you're going to gauge that. Sorry about that. And remember, guys, a couple of pointers here. True range and average true range are volatility measures, not direction indicators. They help assess the strength of a trend, not predict its direction. So it doesn't really look at if it's bearish or bullish. It tells you about volatility and strength of the momentum. It's incumbent upon you, though, to figure out exactly what the direction is. And for better results, combine true range and average true range analysis with other technical indicators like moving averages or price patterns for a more comprehensive understanding, understanding of the trend. I think this would be really helpful with moving averages, because we just finished saying that true range and average true range don't show you trend direction, but that's what we know moving averages are great for, because they're pointing up or down or sideways. So you can always gauge the momentum on the short-term momentum, the medium-term momentum, the long-term momentum, all using moving averages, depending on which one you're using. If you're using the 10, the 20, the 50, or the 200, all is different depending on what time frame you're trading off. So use moving averages to help gauge the trend, and then ATR to help gauge the momentum and the strength of the trend. And don't forget that practice absolutely makes perfect. Look at historical charts on how to identify true range and average true range and see how they've evolved during those established trends, and apply this knowledge to live intraday charts. Try to take what you've learned from that and apply it intraday. Observe how true range behaves and use ATR as a filter to identify potential entry and exit points based on trend strength. Oh dear.
Sharif, thank you so much for that lesson of the day. And again, I do apologize for the blurriness of that chart.
All good.
Yeah, well, just to the people. Oh. But yeah, I think ATR is something really interesting. I didn't even realize there was a difference between ATR and true range. So,
yeah. Average, well, yeah, think about it, yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But there's a whole other type of range that we don't talk about, which is range per candle, which is Sharif's measurement that I actually think is another volatility measurement, which you can just use as an example in Tesla. If you look at this chart, you can tell when the volatility really kicks in Tesla. And it's when we got these big old candles. So I just want to shout out, Sharif's ATR, or not ATR, range per candle, because I think that is actually, it can give you a sense of how bamboozling are we in each candle. And a lot of these small caps I know have them. So speaking of Tesla, I did try to go long. I didn't give up all the gains from that other trade. Happy I took it. And also really happy with how I exited. I got out around 70s because I wanted to see what we did at 70s. We get out, I get out, we drop, and I want to clarify as well, a lot of my scalps lately have been based on what I'm seeing on the book, and that's helped me tremendously. Because what you see in the book can show you change of sentiment. If what I used to see as support, especially in these kind of rangier names, flips to resistance, then I'm like, okay, I don't want to be here anymore. You know what I mean? So you got to do what you got to do. I waited to see that 182.10 break to get long because I know I've been talking about that 182.10 on Tesla on the book. Literally one time we jumped above it, then came back, like dropped like 10 cents. I don't know what it is with that level. We can't break it. Looks like I didn't get my breakout yet. My entry point wasn't great either. I mean, come on, 180, 195s. We could do better than that, Adara. I'm not trying to beat myself up, just trying to encourage myself. Keep going, keep bouncing. If we keep bouncing up this 181 60s-ish, there could be a level for me. I still think we'll break up. I just missed the opportunity, and it's actually kind of ironic that the short here ended up working better than the long at high of day, but charts don't really care about your feelings. They don't care about patterns. They only care about what they want to do. Nvidia, if you bounce off your 950, I'll probably take this. I know I said I had no levels on this right now, but I still like that 950 area. Like I said, though, I'm much more obsessed with the 948.50, and I found I've been able to trade that a little bit better. So I got to Apple because it bounced. Yeah, just boring. Didn't work out. But you know what? As Obi says, where's the next trade? And right now, I don't have an answer to that question, but I do know I'm still looking. Eli Lilly, oddly enough, in a range and with a catalyst. So I might, don't know if I necessarily want to because I'm a little hesitant to trade this one live, but if I like levels, I think I kind of owe it myself to try. So we're going to see what happens.
All right. I'm looking to defend 430 on the soft one. Microsoft calling me crazy, but I'm cruising for a bruising here because I am now negative on the name. But I don't know. Just obsessed with it. I don't know what it is. I'm long. I'm looking to go long, excuse me, 430.05 to defend the $10 level. A couple of pennies away, I guess, from getting triggered ordered, not triggered upset. Over here, we're printing 12s. I'm looking to get long at 05s. We'll see exactly what we get there. I want to mention something that Big Adam DeLuce says. Yeah, he's also big Kyle. I would suggest looking at the level on the ATR to provide you with an indication. When ATR is low, would mean less inclination of higher highs, and a high at ATR would mean we are exhausted. Thank you very much, Adam, for that. Big Adam DeLuce dropping hot lines midday. Yeah, so now long softy there. I'm going to send it to you so I can put in my orders.
Yeah, I just want to congratulate Mr. Long Shorts, apparently killing that Tesla range trade. Shout out to you. I'm slightly negative on it, pretty flat, looking for some new opportunities on this. Yeah, honestly, I've only traded 3 names today because I'm trying to limit the amount of names on my blotter. We've had like 8 or 10 recently, which is like, that's excessive. That's way too many things to look at. Like, how can I even manage that? So I'm trying to limit the amount of names I'm trading. Right now, just Tesla, Nvidia, Apple. Negative on all 3, but I've had positive trades on 2 of those names, the being Tesla and Nvidia. Apple, that Apple was, it was a wash. Like, you know how you wash an apple? That was me in that Apple trade. But that pun worked better in my head. Yeah, we didn't really Tim Cook there. We didn't get the Steve Jobs done. But, you know, just got to keep going. Got to keep seeing what happens there.
I'm good. Yeah.
Falling a little bit, so of course Tesla's kind of bouncing.
Yeah, sorry, just had to put in the stops and everything like that. But yeah, this looks like it's going to go against me here, so we'll see. You know, it's maybe just not the day to catch these dips. Some days you do well with dips, some days not so much. So we'll keep an eye on that. I'm looking for a 430 defend. That's the end all and be all of this trade. Where am I long? I'm long at 05, so good look here. Nice 20 penny winner there on the soft one. So it does hold up those levels, and now we're nicely in the money. Okay, so I'm gonna let this one go. Bit of a hammer candle coming in here, but don't want to put too much stock into one measly 5-minute candle. We're gonna continue to watch, see if we can get a nice move back up. Already wet my beak on some profits, so nothing more to do here. Brad Oldman. Check out BRLS. I see it, my man. It is #1 now on my scanner, up 126%. This is the kind of thing that gets you a spot on the coveted side chart, baby.
Oh.
I know, Adara. It's
very proud of it.
BRLS, I love it, right? We're talking about stocks like we know them.
Yeah.
It's good times, good times.
When you look at a chart long enough,
yeah.
You don't know that chart, Sharif. You tell me you don't know it.
Well, BRLS, her and I, well, them and I are getting acquainted at the moment, but because we just met. But here it is, nice dip into the volume weighted average price, as I was just saying. Oh, I moved it. Sorry, 875. Good look there, Brad. 1075 touch, but it moved $2 like it was nobody's business. It did halt down. Let's flip to the 1 minute to have a better look at said halt. If it'll load, that would just be aces, baby. But alas, it is not loading, so we're gonna have to wait a little bit here on BRLS. Forget about waiting. I can just bring up the chart from up here, which is already loaded. So yeah, here's a look on BRLS, halted at the 967 area. Now we're just a smidge above $9. So keep your eye on that 875 level. We did get a nice hold off the volume weighted average price, but you know, this one has trouble staying open, Brad, and that, you know, bit of a turnoff. It's halted, right? Or it's not halted. It's just doing lesser volume now. The volume is really dropping off here on BRLS. Is a smidge above 2 at 9, dancing with 9 right now. What is the spread on this thing? It looks awfully spready. Yeah, 9 pennies on a $9 name. That's not really what you want to see there. I'll keep eyes on it. It's a good look on the day. Definitely got into the side chart here. So if it can stop halting and get its wits about it, definitely we will be interested in that. There's some other small cap gappers too that we can talk about. But now Softy, 35 pennies in the money, looking for a $0.5 move here on the soft one. I'm looking for that 430.50, and that's about 1 penny away. Let's go, soft one. We're at 47s, and that's going to be the end of the trade for me. Happy with this trade. I did get cut up on Softy. Let me tell you guys if I'm positive or negative on it. I'm still negatory on the soft one. So we'll look to get out of some trouble there. Microsoft holding at this particular area, 430. Good look here, maybe even more to the high side of there.
Congrats to you. I would like to congratulate you on that. So I guess we're gonna have to find out if you and BRLS go on like another coffee date or something. After you guys just first met. Yeah, we'll just see if, I know you said get your wits about her, but we'll say wicks about because it's
Oh, wow. Yeah, I should have known that. That was a little on the nose. That's my mistake for not knowing that. Wicks and wits. Come on, Sharif. You've been sitting next to this girl long enough. You should know that.
I was happy with that. But yeah, so basically what I'm noticing too, and I want to shout out Kyle Burdett and Sean, and amongst other people, you know, as well. But basically just like what I've noticed is when you notice the key, when you're looking at the cues while trading, so not all, but some of these Mag 7 names, it can really help you. So if I'm seeing the cues get a little bit of a bounce, especially off of this area of resistance previously, and I mean, it's not perfect, but kind of around that, what, like 454, 65? And I notice Nvidia is doing that. Nvidia actually probably would have been the play here and not Google. But I've been looking at Google all day. I like the short, didn't take it just because it wasn't really a trade that I had a great level on in terms of where I'd take profit. Now I'm going long. You might be like, Adara, you're going long on Google below VWAP, below the 90 MA. Eyebrow raise? Huh? But no, you know why I like it? A, we're bouncing off that pre-market level, or I guess actually kind of where we top and turned around open, which I like even better. And B, we're doing that at the same time as the Qs are bouncing. If we break below 90s, I'm out. We keep getting to 94 and then bouncing. I think the thing is though too is I'd rather get cut up on a trade that I tried that I liked than not take anything when I liked it. You know what I mean? My biggest issue is taking trades I don't feel 100% confident in. I need to stop doing that. But today I've been pretty good about that. Still, like I said, still down on all my names, but you know, I think you just gotta be honest and you figure out what works. And I think today, I feel like I made a little bit of a breakthrough realizing the issue with Nvidia wasn't my levels, it wasn't my ideas, it was the execution. And then when we fix that, we had a $1.20 winner, right? So I think that's a huge thing. I think don't be too hard on yourself. Recognize what's not working, but then say to yourself, how will I make this better? Because I think if you beat yourself up, which is what I've kind of been doing over my trading the last week, I'm not gonna lie, you don't learn anything from beating yourself up. All you learn is I've cascaded myself, I've been hard on myself, and then you take that negativity. What you need to do is you need to turn that negativity into a positivity. You need to find some way to motivate yourself from your L's and turn those into M's. Shout out, of course, to 21 Savage. So let's see what Google's doing. It's still bouncing. I would like minimum 177.20, 177.15s around VWAP, risking about 10 pennies here. So I feel comfortable with that. But Google, if you'd like to jump up, I'd like you a lot more.
Can I show you this, Adara?
Oh my gosh.
So I can't believe they closed this gap. Well, let's not say the gap got closed.
Yeah.
It didn't get closed yet. But this is what I'm seeing right here. Who else is noticing this?
I like that.
This is
And
interesting.
it's curling now.
Exactly. So look, I'm not saying that there's going to be a hold up here at 315, 316, 315 and a half or whatever, but this was kind of the low yesterday on Pandub before the epic Huadunk. No, there was more epic Huadunks. Just look at the February report. That was a real Huadunk. This one was like a soft Huadunk because we're almost filling the whole thing. Like, I mean, I'm really surprised by this Panda. I was watching this yesterday in the aftermarket. I'm like, oh, not again. I have to suffer through this again because I've been through 2 earnings reports with this monster. And so the other one, we got into the 260s. I charted this for you guys yesterday. It was a little bit of a relief to see that we were getting bought up yesterday in the aftermarket. We were dancing with like 300, almost 298 after printing the lows there, 291. It did hold 290. But when I started looking at the daily, I'm like, this doesn't look that bad. Like yes, this is a bearish engulfing candle because yesterday's price ensconces all of today. I get that. But the uptrend is still intact off that 264 hold. So we really haven't broke that. What I'll be concerned about to see, is this just some like, quick positioning because we got a quick dip in it, or, you know, it's hard to know. It's hard to know with PanW. There was something yesterday in the report that I didn't like. Brendo mentioned it this morning. I want to mention it again. It's basically the propensity of these companies to not want to use one cybersecurity company in the fear that they get compromised, their security software gets compromised, and then that company that's using PanW also gets compromised. So what they're doing is they're a little bit with Zscaler, a little bit with PanW, a little bit with CRM or whoever, CrowdStrike. And so what ends up happening there is you're distributing your money, the money that you've allotted for cybersecurity amongst 4 or 5 names. So, I mean, at the end of it, if everybody's doing that, then the same amount of money reaches everybody, but it doesn't end up working that way. So there is some concern on my part about that kind of trend within the cybersecurity industry for you to not want to rely solely on one company, but on multiple ones. I think that, you know, obviously has an effect on earnings of some kind. I'm unsure what to make of it. It's a tidbit that I just got yesterday. Maybe we'll run it by Alfred, see what he thinks.
Let's see what Alfred has to say on the, call him on the red bat phone.
Oh, I told him about PanW. He's like, it's too expensive. It's too expensive. I'm like, all right, bro. Everything's too expensive for you unless it's like trading at 3 or 4 times PE. Like the dude's unbelievable.
Like you talk about frugality. I feel like that might be a word that Alfred.
Oh, he is. I told you. He's like, I'm cheap. It's my brand. Oh. That's what he said. I'm not putting words in his mouth. Truer words were never spoken, Alfred.
I do love the honesty and the self-awareness to say that it's your brand.
He is.
Yeah, sure.
He said it. MGOL getting a bit of a bounce here. ADERA off the volume weighted average price. This was the multiple halter today to the high side, $1.49. HOD, we just reclaimed $1 off that 85 penny bounce on the volume weighted average price. Now we're knocking the door of $1.10. Keep your eye on this level. This was the last crest over here that we couldn't break through. $1.13, $1.14 was where we held up. So this is a nice bounce off VWAP, but we need higher highs, and that comes in through that $1.14. MGOL up 365%, $17.5 million market cap, 6.3 million share float. Good look for them today.
Yeah, I mean, I want to talk about Nvidia for a second, but right now how I'm trying to play this potential bounce of some of these semis as we get the futures trying to hold up here. I want to take this stock sell. I like this kind of range. Stock sell is one I've been trading recently, and to me, there are a couple levels written in the stars, or rather written in the chart. I do like that we had this little support area in the pre-market around that 47.88s. We kind of get it around 47.90s. So this is a level I think I can kind of play off of. If we break below 88s, that's when I'm going to have to say bye. 88s, 85s, I'm going to have to say goodbye. I like how well we're holding up right now, especially in confluence with the 9 EMA. In terms of where I'll be taking profit, I'm going to be looking to take some out at 48.10s. I took enough shares that, you know, I think part of scalping too that I don't do very much is if you like the trade, you have to take it with a few more shares. Right? So this is not a massive position. It's not even the largest position I've taken all day, but it is a position that makes me feel happy enough that you can kind of get out, you can kind of finagle, you can figure it out how you need to figure it out, right? So I will be looking for 48.10s. I may save a piece of the dream at 48.20s because I like the confluence of that wick up here and that high in the pre-market. But sometimes when I save pieces for the dreams, it just, you know, it ends up being a nightmare. To quote Beyonce, it could be sweet dream or a beautiful nightmare. And I feel like for me, it's almost always the latter. But you can't get caught up in your head, right? Each experience in trading is always going to be different. So you got to see what it gives you. So let's hopefully don't get socked in the face and sock sell. But I like that look. Also, Nvidia. Joanna Brewster pointing out in the chat, Nvidia drop. However, I was watching this book as we fell. Nvidia 948.50, again, becoming a level of support. Maybe it's just like all these traders like me just watching this book like crazy and noticing this level, and that's why we keep bouncing here. But I didn't want to take that long right away because I was like, Adara, I think this would just be ridiculous. You keep talking about the power of execution. And then Nvidia was like, oh, but actually, like, I'm going to bounce. So you could have done it anyway. And I'm like, okay. But no, all jokes aside, I do think that Nvidia 948.50 has been a massive level. Case in point, this is slightly lower than 948, but case in point, yesterday we closed 947.80, so that 948.50 continues to be a level. If we bounce again, I might be interested, but right now I'm trying to play this through sock sell, so I don't want to get too lost in the sauce or too lost in the socks. You know, in this analogy. But I do like this look. Let's kind of see what happens. What is everyone else looking at? Put it in the chat. Let us know. In just about 10 minutes, you'll be able to take a look at, you're going to be able to put your tickers that you want in the chat in about 10 minutes. So just fair warning, if you have any tickers you want Sharif to point at in the big screen, do a Vanna White moment. If you have any specific tickers that you want Sharif to look at in 10 minutes, you can start putting those in the chat. And we're going to explain all that, but just a fair warning. Also, yeah, Joanna Brewster saying, look out for that sock sell. It does dangerous kangaroo moves unexpectedly. Laughing emojis. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I love trading sock sell, but man, you have to be very careful. You get out of this thing, and then it's like, oh, why'd you leave? And it does what you want it to do. So I'm very cognizant of that. Shout out to you, Joanna Brewster. Trading a lot of chips in there as well, so I'm sure you certainly feel my AMD or my Nvidia and sock sell pain and emotions overall today. Thank you, Kyle Burdett, for pointing out the Tesla short. I actually did print on the short. Ironically, where I messed up was trying to go long on that. So that was my issue. It's funnily enough, trying to take that long. That's where things went wrong. The short, yeah, it worked out well. And let's see what we do if we bounce. I don't know if it'll go long Tesla. But yeah, please just punch with the short. And thank you, Kyle Burdett. And also, thank you, Sharif.
Very nice. That's a hell of a looker right there. Eh?
It's a nice little
yeah. Guys, this is how you're going to enter it. So it's super easy. The join is the triggering whatever prompt, and then you're going to put $, and you're going to put the ticker that you like. Not yet, though, guys. In 9 minutes, from 1 p.m. to 1:50, you got 50 whole minutes to have your say, but this is the beautiful part about it. You get to choose what we talk about, not us, and we keep it live, right? Because the stuff that was running in the morning may or may not be running in the afternoon, so you guys get your say. Neil's going to drop hotlines about it. Sean's going to drop hotlines about it. We're going to have a back and forth little analysis there, so make sure you're participating in this every day, 1 to 1:50 p.m. That's the prompt you enter there in the chat. So can't wait to see what we get today. Yesterday we had Tesla as numero uno, right? So kind of not surprised there. We'll see, baby. Join for dinner, please. Hey, Charlie, send me that invite. You never know. I'm just up. It depends on what you're cooking, right? If you're gonna have seafood, to be there. I feel really bad for Red Lobster.
Oh, you know I do.
I know you do too. I know you do
I'm
too.
heartbroken.
But yeah, digressing a little bit. Let's have a Magic Mike. Not yet, my man. Not yet. 1 to 1:50. Hold up for 8 more minutes. You'll be able to do this. All right. Tesla seems to be interesting here. Let's have a look at what the Cybertruck is doing, Ram, as it comes into that 180.5. Now curling back into 181. One measly doji there. You don't want to base too much on one measly doji. Tesla started running their midday. This area right here, 11:55, into that 182. As a result of Pepsi releasing, they're going to buy more of these Tesla semis. So we'll keep eyes on that. And now breaking back through 181. Well, the reason I pointed this out is because we got a deeper retracement possibly into the 20 period here. You know how I feel about the 20 period and trending stocks. And Tesla did feature with the 20 earlier when it did pull back. Right here, you can see all these prints north of that 20 period EMA on the 5-minute look. So right now we're dancing with 181. Let's see how that one resolves. The one that I really feel that I got bamboozled on, I printed on it. I'm still negative on the day, but the trade here at 430 did not hold up on Softy. So this was interesting because, you know, this was a clear area of resistance earlier on Microsoft. So I did want to see some hold up here at 430. None is coming forward. So, you know, you don't always get what you want with this, but this was one that I would have, you know, bet on being a higher probability hold at 430. You get that nice move up on Softy, the association with Nvidia, this, that, and the other, all-time highs. I guess maybe because we printed all-time highs that there's going to be some profit taking, I guess. So Softy on the way down into possibly VWAP. VWAP hanging out at 429 and a quarter there. The one that's been doing interesting things is Amazon. So this was awfully weak off the jump. I mean, it was weak right from the get-go, right at 8 a.m. It started heading down. It was quite consolidated before that. Then we found a base at exactly 180.75. And since we printed that 180 3/4, it has been a series of higher lows and higher highs. So a bit of an upward channel. You could make the argument that this is very bear flaggish, or, you know, because of the down move and then the compression, or not the compression pattern, but the it's you know, it doesn't matter if it's going back up, that sort of upward channel here. Let's see exactly what we get. We're at 182 right now, topping tail candles coming through support level 1 on pivots through the quarter dollar, but nothing really closing above there. So Amazon interesting on the day, but less inclined to go long on this one. All right, so keep eyes on that. Let's flip back to some of these small cap gappers, see what they're up to. We were just yapping about MGOL. It's still above a buck, but having trouble. Topped out there at $1.13 or so. Yeah, some of these small cap gappers are really giving back everything. BRLS included below VWAP right now. How's FLJ doing? Also below VWAP. Yeah, so some of these ones are really giving up the ghost here, and are not really tradable under my system at the moment for small cap gappers. So we'll have to stick to some of these large caps there.
Yeah, this Tesla, I know it's probably kind of a weird look to go long here. I like that we had a little bit of the support, and mostly I like that the futures took a bit of a nosedive, and Tesla was like, okay, cool, I'll move up. So that's why I wanted to go long. That, honestly, all my successful Tesla trades today have been based on that, have just been using that impetus. Like, the futures drop, Tesla goes higher. Now it's doing it again, but I had to get out as we got kind of into 75s. I didn't want that. A little bit of bamboozlement. I am down on every name today, 0 for 5. I'm going to be really, really honest. But that doesn't mean we haven't had winning trades or trades that I'm proud of. Because I love that Tesla short I took. I'm very proud of that. Very proud of a handful of these shorts at Nvidia. Had a couple dollar club winners. But really, it's just, I think sometimes about perseverance, because you're not going to have a winning trade every day or every trade. But I think I learn a lot more from the losing trades, and it's just about extrapolating, like, why did the winning trades work? And so when Tesla, weirdly, it was doing this weird counter trend thing with the futures, didn't end up work out. Where's the next move? We also do have a fabulous super chat here from, every super chat's fabulous. I just like that word. Francisco Infante, thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. AMD long, question mark? So yeah, okay. So the semis have been really chop and turn. By the way, I ended up getting out of that short a little bit earlier, or that long on SOXL a little bit earlier than expected. Lost about 5 pennies just because I didn't like what we were doing, and it ended up being the right call. But what I only bring that up to say we've had this kind of weird chop and turn action, especially in AMD, Nvidia, and SOXL. And I've also noticed AMD, we keep seeing that resistance around 165.60s. Look at this. We had the pre-market area, support. We get to there in the AMD, that level today, and AMD is like, I don't really want that smoke. I'd rather not, thank you. I'm just going to keep going to the downside. We had a great pop-off VWAP, mind you. This is a gorgeous look. Then we just had lower highs, lower lows since then. The one thing I will say, I can't even really say lower low because we have a kind of interesting area around this 165. Pre-market bounce. A little bit of a chop and churn at 12 p.m. Look where we're bouncing. I think if 160, 165 takes off, and as I say that, we dip a little bit, and if we get a higher high, this could be a nice look here for AMD. But right now, Francisco, I have to say the lower high and that resistance at 165.60, I don't really love. Again, not advice, just my look at the chart. Also, yeah, Apple, I was in this trade earlier, and I think I maybe mentioned it one other time. Apple, there'll be times where I like to look at it, and then I remember that it's Apple, and it's not any really fun to be in. I have to say, there is It's kind of a demoralizing trade to be a part of because you
Oh,
like the
I didn't
look,
mean to laugh.
and then it's
I
just
thought you
taking
were
its
joking.
time.
My bad.
No. I don't even mean. I was kind of joking.
Okay.
When I say demoralizing, I don't mean like actually depressing. It's just you kind of lose all energy.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like it's like a decaf tea or a decaf coffee. You really want to be trading, and then Apple's like 1 penny, 1 penny, 1 penny, 2 pennies. 1 penny. So it's just, yeah, I mean, it's not the most fun name to trade. It's okay. I love the laughter, you know. I mean, I'm making all these jokes, so no problem with that. But just happy that you enjoy the puns. But yeah, no, in this case, when I say demoralizing, I just mean really it's kind of boring.
I made a fat finger on Meta. I got long 180.82, and then I took out the entire position at 181. That was a mistake. That was supposed to be a beak wetter, and I was supposed to hold the remaining amount for a curl up if we got a curl up through 181. So a little annoyed there. I don't think I'm going to put my same order down there again. I don't know if, well, if you're thinking about 181 curl up, why wouldn't you put the order down there again? I mean, what's changed? And there it goes. Do wit. Neil's, yeah. Exactly. I just thought it through. I know. He's telling me to do that too. I'm going to do it. 180.82 is where I had my entry, so we're going to go right back into that entry again on the Cybertruck. But I want to mention, oh, here we go. It's going to come into my entry super quick, so I do have to manage this if it does trigger because stressla be stressla. Right?
Oh, I do.
But I want to mention what Big Kyle said about the Amazon bear flag there that I pointed out. He said that look what he wrote. An upward channel after a down move is one of my favorite type of bear flags. And I just got triggered on Tesla, and it is coming down into the 50, into the 50 penny area. So I'm going to send it to you while I put my stops.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to get into Nvidia, but I'm not even in Nvidia right now. Right now, I'm just watching it being like, I'm sad I missed that. But just look at this level. This 946 was another level I think I wrote on my midi. No, I didn't. I wrote 945s. But it's not my sticky note. It's my Google Doc of areas I like. And so I like this area because support, flip to resistance. That's also why I got out of the short here when I did take that Nvidia short. I'm definitely going to miss this opportunity, but it's all good. I liked it because we did have that pop, that failure to break above the 9 EMA, and critically, we failed to break above the 9 EMA. Actually, after working into that 948.50, I just keep yapping about the 948.50 area of resistance. The point where 948.50 is probably tired of me talking about it. It's like Adara, let me leave. There are other levels in Nvidia, okay? Like, you don't need to keep yapping about me. But no, I mean, as long as the level continues to exist, yap, I will. So sorry, 948.50 at Nvidia, but you are still valid to me. That pop and rejection is a great look. I canceled my order because I didn't like that massive move back up into 947s. But if we keep having it, I might have to continue this short. I definitely don't think Nvidia is a long here, even though we did have that bounce off support. I think this could be a flip situation, but I also do not want to crowd into the name. I don't want to go chasing waterfalls. Just stick to the rivers. The rivers you used to. But yeah, so I want to just look at that. Also, someone was saying yesterday in the market recap chat, like, oh, I want to hear Dara sing. And I tagged him and I was like, I sing like all the time on how to trade. So check that out. I don't know if you're here, but yeah, we sing a lot.
Okay, so Fabian and Ramin, they alternate coming in the morning. Go Tesla! Yes, there we go, nice.
Yes,
yes, they alternate coming earlier in the morning. 1 week Ram, 1 week Fabian, the Chilean nightmare. And when Ram comes in on Friday, she plays music. I've never in my life seen Adara so happy at the big desk. She like dancing right in the watch list. Ram's playing. They're chiming back and forth about like different artists, yapping a little bit of that, yapping a little bit of this. So I can definitely vouch for that. Ram, is it sunny over there? Oh, my bad. It's not. Have a look.
This morning I said I like your sunglasses. She said I didn't even realize I was wearing them.
Is it sunny over there, Ram?
She just likes the shades.
I have no idea why she's in the darkest area in the whole room and she's wearing sunglasses. I don't really understand why, but that's okay.
Living her best life, Sharif.
Yeah, if I live my best life by teasing her. All right, good move up here by TSLA. The blanket I already understand, Ram, because they have to blare the air conditioning in here because of the computers. They got to keep everything cool. That makes sense. The sunglasses, though, Ram, I don't really understand. It's really dark where you're sitting. So it's all good there. It's bright.
There's a lot of screens. There are a lot of screens.
Sunny in here says, Big Rob, shout out to you. Full Tilt Banana says you're hung over, Ram. True or false? Hearsay, she says. Go. Full Tilt Banana has that down pat. Shout out to him.
Hearsay.
I love it. But yeah, this nice move up here on TSLA after that quick 20 period, wham, bam, thank you, 20 period, and I'm breaking through 181. Nice move there, already flattened out through the break of 10s, but a good move here. Nice, I like to see these hammer candles off a key area of technical support. That is the 20 period. Again, I'm going to mention this. I love when these trending stocks come into the 20 period at the deeper retracements. If you catch them, while they're on the way up, if you're trading on the 5-minute chart, there's obviously going to be a high and a low on the 5-minute candle. Typically, what I notice is that the trend will hold up. The low of the 5-minute candle will be at the 10. When you really start printing red 5-minute candles on a trending stock, they seem to come in to the 20, and that's what I've been basing a lot of these trades on lately, trending stocks, not things that are moving sideways and consolidative. All right, shout out to Big Kyle Burdett there because he did call that upward channel after a big down move as one of his favorite bear flags, and more accurate he could not be on this occasion as it does break down now through that channel. The question is, Big Kyle, do we get a hold up at this 180, 150 at the volume weighted average price? This could be a nice little scalp area, right? VWAP, interesting area here on AMZN. It's having a tough day today, down 1.1%. They're delaying the purchase of the H100s today. You think that'd be a bad catalyst for an Nvidia, but Nvidia's up on the day, even though, albeit by almost nothing, while Amazon down on the day. So the market not liking that for Amazon there. Let's go ahead and pull up AMZN and have a look at what we're doing here. So let's check out the book. 2-penny spread at the moment, nice at VWAP. This is an interesting area here. If you put in an order at the $0.50, where would you have to give it for you to be wrong? I'd have to give it to at least a quarter buck. So I'm going to send it to you here, Dare.
Yeah, it's so funny. You said Nvidia's up today, and then Nvidia jumped like 20 pennies. It's still, though, failing my area, which is, you're going to be really shocked, I know, but it's 948.50. If we break above 948.50, I'm out. Bye-bye. I swear, I remember Sundar Pichai, that Google AI that was saying, oh, yeah, now you can use AI to search how many times you've said a thing. If you use AI to search how many times I've said 948.50 over the last week, I'm sure it'd be an obscene, gross amount. But if that level's going to keep popping up, who am I to ignore it? Yeah, so we're going to probably have to get out of this. I want to see, I think we're going to be breaking above my level on this, but basically still happy I took the trade. Initially rejected, didn't get out of it fast enough. Story of my life. But I wanted 947s. We got into 947, I think 18's the lowest on the buy side, 50's lowest on the sell side. But you know what? I can't be upset because I tried it, and now Nvidia's like, well, now that Adara's gone, I could just continue to the downside. I'm like, okay, whatever. But no, yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, obviously, I'm not happy that I'm down on the day. This has not been the trading of my life. However, I've noticed my only positive week while trading was my first week, and even then I was pretty much flat. I took no risk, and the trades were they weren't anything special, right? I was trading P&L. Now, obviously, I would rather be up on the day, of course, everyone would be, but I think that I'm learning more from taking these swings that I believe in and failing than I was from taking these little tiny baby bites in my first week. So I don't know if that means anything, but to me it does. And to me, I just think you have to continue to push, continue to grind. I'm not going to learn anything from complacency. So you could say definitely a lot of questionable things about the trading recently, but it has not been complacent. And I think that is certainly, something that I am okay with and proud of. Tesla, I get out of the long, then Tesla's like, oh yeah, long, that's what I want to do to the upside. So, if we were, okay, Tesla, I see you. Okay, that was really creepy, out of a horror movie. I'm so sorry, guys.
That's exactly what I felt there. But I didn't say anything. I let you say that, but I like it.
You and I are usually on the same page.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we
100%.
reject 66s in a non-horror movie way, I will hunt this one down, take it to the downside, and get my victory. Make slasher sounds here. But yeah, how are you
Slasher
doing?
sounds like it. I'm in Amazon right now. Call me crazy. I'm looking for that VWAP hold. Thanks, Ram. I'm looking for a VWAP hold and a move back into like a $0.75, something around there. We'll see what we get. Apple at an interesting area as well. What just happened? Why is everything moving so super quick here? Oh, wow. Tesla just tanked. Well, not tanked, but a big drop there on Tesla through the break of the 2/3 of a dollar. Dropped right into that $0.25, even further, actually. Tried to defend that $1 area. We'll see. So I'm long at this area on the Zon Amazon. This is the precipice for the long at the moment. I'm looking for at least a scalp off the VWAP. We'll see if we get something here. I'm waiting up at 70s for the first print. Comes, it comes, doesn't. Too bad. Apple, interesting area here. Last time we made it up into the $0.25, we tanked. Well, we didn't tank, but we definitely retraced. So interesting local support here at the 192.25. Did break above that quarter, got to 26s, but right down into the low 20s we go. Keep your eye out on this level. You know, Apple had a nice move up initially, but that double top kind of put the kibosh on the trend to the high side. Now we've been very consolidative, a little 190, 180, a little 192.25. So a bit of a range right now on AAPL. We'll see if this one can break up on higher volume again, maybe in the more liquid time of day. The other trade, I had a softy trade at the 20 period. We took a quick scalp on that, but look at this. This seems to be the better level here. The volume weighted average price feature is here, you know, at least for the longs, better than the 20 period did. 429 1/3. Now it's knocking the door of 430, but you just got the cross here between the 10 and the 20, so I don't want to put too much into that. If anything, it starts to look consolidative, right? I mean, just because we got the cross of the 10 with the 20 doesn't mean, you know, that we're going to start heading back down. This is a lower time frame cross, right? If anything, it could show you that there's a downtrend or consolidation, because you're going to have all these fake crossovers with moving, especially the lower moving averages like the 10 and the 20, when you have periods of consolidation a little bit above, a little bit below. So a bit of a interesting look there right now on Softy. Nice bounce off VWAP, but we'll see exactly what we get. Let's flip some of these small cap gappers, see if any of them are running. No, it really is kind of, they're dying off at the moment. Let me just make sure that my scanner is up to speed. Say that again.
Barnes & Noble still.
What's the ticker? BNED, thank you. Let's take off MMBNED. Barnes & Noble, says Neil, decent look. Yes, this is nice. Okay, so now we have a trend here on a small cap gapper. Now, it held up nicely. Key area of technical support. Look at that crest over here, and now on the drop back down, you hold it. I love that about these small cap gappers. So 57 1/3 pennies right there acts as a level of support, and it also happened to be the 10 period. So good pump up there on BNED. Barnes & Noble, I can't believe this is a penny stock, but I can't, you know, as I say that, I'm not really that surprised because Amazon eats everybody's lunch, right? At least, remember like how many Indigos and chapters we had in this country now?
So
how many do we have? Like one per, I don't know, city, like locality in the city? One downtown,
we just
maybe
got a
one in
new
Toronto?
one in the well.
Oh, okay.
So now we have a couple downtown.
Stand corrected. We have two because there's one right here, right?
Yeah, so there's like
Bam,
3
Blur.
then, because there's a Polo Park one.
Oh,
Or not
okay.
sorry, that was a Winnipeg Mall. I am tired. The Eaton Center. Oh
All
my
right.
God, I'm tired.
Well, I didn't get it that wrong then. But, hey, she's back. I wear my sunglasses
Glasses
at
in the
night.
dark.
In the dark, yeah. Ram, you didn't tell me you had that camera back. I thought that was, it's not back? Oh, okay. All right, oh, no problem there. All right, still in this Amazon long at 181.60, looking for a hold up at the volume weighted average price.
Okay, you know I'm tired when I just dropped the name of a Winnipeg mall there. Also, the irony is the Winnipeg mall I named doesn't even have an Indigo.
No?
No, it really doesn't. That was made it even more ironic.
Even more.
I meant to say Eaton Centre, because Eaton Centre is in downtown Toronto, and it does have an Indigo.
Oh,
but
wow.
instead, I pulled out the name of a Winnipeg mall, so it's all good. Yeah, Tesla, I joked in the chat that Tesla had that big move down because it was scared of me after I made that really creepy comment about, it was like, I was like, I want that level, and the Tesla was like, I don't want her near that. So it dropped. No, all jokes aside, we did have that nice move down. Then we kind of became a bit of a long. I tried to get involved in this at 181.05s. Tesla got to 181.06s and then bounced. So it's all good. You can't chase, though. That's the biggest thing I'm learning is that, you know, obviously, like it'd be better. You sometimes just have to be faster. And I mean, oh my gosh, Nvidia. Mamma mia. Here we go again, rejecting at 948.50. So, I mean, you know, all songs aside, I do continue to like this level.
Bro.
And I mean,
ATR kills it, bro.
but I do want that. I want that short. So that's what I'm going to get. Again, this is why I've been focusing only on 5 names today. And even for that, really, I've only been focusing on Nvidia and Tesla. And that's, I mean, again, the accuracy isn't perfect. I want to work in the execution, but the levels have been not bad. So I think that's one little feather in the cap. Hopefully we can have as many feathers as Robin Hood, the animated fox, soon. But speaking of Robin Hood, I know some other people in the chat were looking at this, including Ike Anderson. Robin Hood, kind of interesting. I want to see what we do here at that 2065. That was a little bit of an area we chopped and turned around earlier. If we bounce, that could be a nice look. Definitely some resistance at 2110. Look at that pre-market chop and turn. I guess it's not even pre-market. It's like right after the open chop and turn. And that nice little wicking candle. At which one?
Ethereum. Ethereum just had a big drop, says Neil. Big drop. Off 38.37, now 37.33, so about 150 bucks.
Oh wow, that's a big drop. How do you pull up ETH on?
I have it on my platform. Yes, go Amazon. Here is the look, guys. I'm going to show you the Ethereum chart. This is the 1 minute, so let's get out of that and go to the 5. This is the actual coin itself, guys. Clear level of resistance for whatever reason at 38.37. Okay, so let's say 38 1/3. Okay, how many tops there, you ask? Almost 4. This one didn't quite make it up there. This one came to 38.20, but just you could tell there's definite resistance around 3,800 bucks, even though you get these breaks by as high as $37. So interesting look here on Ethereum. Up still 8.7% after a monster move yesterday. So really nothing to sneeze at here on Ethereum, but just to let you guys know to keep your eye on crypto. So I did print on the scalp there at 70s, 180, 170 on Amazon, but it's coming right back down. So it looks like, you know, the VWAP hold on AMZN might be short-lived as we are, you know, it's been a down day on Microsoft, no question about it, 1.1 in the red. But the whole point of this was a quick scalp on the VWAP bounce. We'll see if this one can continue higher. I don't think it can. I think this is probably a bit of a tougher today on the Zon, even though we've done quite well lately on Amazon. So keep an eye on that. And nothing else. But we are at quarter past. Should we?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I know you're trading, so if you do your thing,
yeah.
And we'll start when you're done.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. I'm just gonna get out of this Nvidia
Take your time,
so that I can focus fully on the lesson. But yeah, I know I've been kind of beating a dead horse, so to speak, with this trade. But it's like if I still like the level, I think I kind of owe it to myself to trade the level. So that's what I've been doing. I'll basically just be trying to get out of this so I can focus on the lesson du jour.
Let me just do this first before you go.
Okay, perfect then. Yeah.
All right, guys. Look, we have a brand new segment. I mentioned it yesterday. I'm going to mention it again. Between 2 to 2:20. Before, I'd get up on the big desk with Brendo and the big kahunas. We talk about the morning runners. Now it's an entirely different setup. Now you guys control what we talk about from 2 to 2:20. It's super easy, Ram. All you got to do is hit exclamation point, join, space, $, and the ticker that you want. Yesterday, Tesla was the #1 requested name. Have your say in what we cover. Go ahead, join now. Put that in the chat. Big Kyle. I love Big Kyle. Shout out to Big Kyle. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Go ahead, put it in the chat. We definitely want to be able to cover the names that you guys are interested in. So go have your say right now. Otherwise, you won't get what you want, Adara.
Yeah, and I mean, someone was asking, like, what does that mean when you put the ticker? What do you talk about? From what I understood yesterday, it's going to be mostly just price action, what's happening in the chart. Are there any particular levels? What did we do all day? Did we do, what maybe people thought we were doing? So I think that'll be certainly very key as well. I am, we're just going to punch out of this Nvidia, and then we're going to be getting to the lesson of the day. Please just punch. Took about 15 pennies. I'm really just happy that I went at it with the viciousness, because that's what you need in these markets. I always talk about the markets moving with the viciousness. But then in response, maybe you have to move with the viciousness. When I say you, I mean traders. Also, congrats to Sharif on the Amazon, because I heard a PAMP. But right now, we're going to talk about identifying intraday trends with true range and ATR. Sorry for the lateness there. I did not even realize the time. These markets, time flies when you're having a great time, and these markets are so active. So let's talk about basically diving into this true range versus average true range to get a better sense of intraday trends and to help you navigate the dynamic world of short-term trading. So imagine for true range, imagine you've got like this stock bounce between high and low prices throughout the day, ping pong, ping pong. The true range is going to go beyond the simple difference between these two and capture the overall movement in the market. So how are you going to calculate it? One way is you can just do the current high minus the current low. It's going to be the standard price range. Then you're going to do the absolute value of the current high minus the previous low or previous close. Then you're going to look at the absolute value of the previous close minus the current low. So the true range is going to be the highest value among those three calculations, considering not just the daily high and low, but also the price moves relative to the previous day's close and providing a more comprehensive picture. So here's one example, and I like this because it actually kind of visualizes. It shows you a couple different methods that you can calculate this. So take a screenshot if you need to. Shout out to Sharif for pointing that out. But yeah, I think this is kind of certainly an interesting thing to look at here, this true range visualization. But how do you look at average true range? So TR is going to be a bit more of a snapshot, but trends emerge over time. This is where ATR comes in, because it's going to be a technical indicator that smooths out the volatility by averaging the true range values over a chosen period. Usually it's going to be about 14 days, so 2 weeks. It'll give you more of a sense, not just what the true range was each day, but what's the average? What did this kind of generally average out to be? So basically, to really simplify it, average true range is going to be the average of the previous period's true range values. So if you have 14 days, what was the TR for each of those 14 days? That's going to give you your ATR. So here's, sorry, this is kind of blurry, but it shows you that you have an increase in ATR when you have a big jump or a drop in the price. Because when you have movement in the prices, you're going to see a bit of a difference in your average true range. If you have small price bars, the ATR is going to be a little bit low. But when you have these bigger price bars, it shows that you have higher ATR. So kind of, again, to go back to Sharif's range per candle, kind of an interesting analysis there. Now, what about using true range and average true range for intraday trends? How do you do that? Of course, that's what we want to talk about, given that we do intraday trading on this here show. Well, higher true range is going to be looking at increasing volatility if you have a steady increase in your true range, which could also signal a trend's beginning or a strengthening trend, but it is going to depend on the context, as everything does in this exciting world of markets. Oops. What about lower true range? Well, if you have a falling true range, that could suggest a decrease in volatility, indicating that the trend is coming to an end, or we got a potential consolidation period, mayhaps. ATR also a filter. How do you use it that way? Well, if you have a price making significant move exceeding average ATR, then this would suggest necessarily a stronger trend, because you do not want to jump into every price wiggle. You want to jump into price movement. You want to jump into a decisive price action. And so ATR can help you gauge the normal price, because if you see that significant move exceeding a multiple of the ATR, so for example, twice the ATR, 3x the ATR, that could suggest a stronger trend, and that's how you can filter out all that white noise, because the market loves white noise. But also some things to remember here. True range and ATR are volatility measures. They're not going to be indicating the direction. So that's why we always talk about confluence. Maybe you want to pair your ATR and TR analysis with something that you're seeing in, what are your moving averages doing? Sharif suggested this, and I really like that because it shows you direction. Are we tilting up? Are we tilting down? Yeah. Are we doing so with, how's the true range when we're doing that? So I think that's certainly of note. Also, again, I just kind of repeated myself there, but look at true range and ATR analysis with other technical indicators to get a better understanding of the trend and what we're doing. And of course, practice makes perfect. They say that of everything. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. How do you get to be a better trader? Trade a lot. No, I'm joking. Practice. That's what it is, right? So you want to look at historical charts and identify how ATR and true range have evolved during established trends, and apply this knowledge to live intraday charts. So look at how, if you're seeing hey, how is this true range behaving, and how can you use ATR to look at a filter to block out all the white noise and find the perfect music in the market and find the entries you really, really want. And bonus tip as well, a lot of trading platforms are going to have built-in true range and ATR indicators. You can use them to your advantage. You know what else you can use to your advantage? $join space $, whatever ticker you want. So you can see Sharif,
Bang.
Our very own Vanna White for the afternoon, looking at these charts from 2 p.m. to 2:20.
I don't want to be Vanna
Absolutely,
White. It's all good. I don't want to be Vanna.
But instead of can I buy a vowel, it's can I buy a ticker?
I want to be Pat Sajak.
Okay, we'll be Pat Sajak. Sharif being the Pat Sajak of the afternoon show, 2 to 2:20. He's going to give you those tickers, but we're not going to have any tickers unless you guys put them in there.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for the response there.
Yes, I'm just going to show you guys real quick. This is the format that you have to put it in, otherwise it doesn't trigger, guys. Join and then the ticker that you want. A lot of requests today for Meta I'm seeing there in the chat, so we'll definitely be talking about META. It looks like here if the numbers hold out. So, all right, let's get to the trade that I'm in. Currently short Softy here at 4:30. The idea was a 20-period rejection. There was a lot of strength on Softy earlier. It did bounce off VWAP. We've been having trouble breaking through 4:30 here for the better part of 1 o'clock. We've been having trouble. I put my beak wetter in the low 80s there. See if we get triggered. My out is going to be on the break of the mid-teens. So Softy dancing with 4:30 at the moment. Likely be some bamboozlement. Hopefully I don't get bamboozled. Hopefully I print on it. We'll see exactly here. But it was a 20-period retracement off of a VWAP bounce here on Microsoft. Good catalyst for this name today. They are teaming up with Nvidia, and Nvidia will help them accelerate some of their AI development. At least that's what the headline said. Softy got a nice bounce around 11:15, 11:30 off that, and that's why we're up 1% and change on the day. But we did descend quite nicely there off that 433, 432.97 technically, high a day all the way down into the volume weighted average price at 429 1/3. Now we're struggling, it looks like at the moment to reclaim those levels, but it looks like we are back at 430. So a little bit above, a little bit below. There's a bit of a tug of war happening right now between buyers and sellers at said $10 level, 430 that is. That's a $10 level I mean. So we'll see exactly what we get there, but I'm short and looking to take this down a little bit further, hopefully a rejection off that $10 level. All right, we're awfully close to getting printed here, but there has been a buyer. Tesla, some topping tail candles, possibly coming in to that 181.50. We had a nice trade off this on the 20 period. Now it's kind of consolidated a little bit. 180.75 it looks like to the downside, maybe 181.50 to the top side. So Tesla sideways action here after it also got a good catalyst midday. It looks like Pepsi is going to be buying more of the semis. The EV semis that they're making, 50 more than planned, apparently. They're also going to be buying Ford. Funny enough, though, when we looked at Ford on the back end news, it started selling off. I don't mean to laugh. I just, you expect good news to be good news for Ford. But alas, at least it wasn't. What is Ford doing right now? Let's have a look. It's down 1/3% on the day. It's done nothing. It has exactly a 17-penny range. 12.20 to the high side, 12.03 to the downside. So not much going on in the world of Ford at the day there, Dare.
Yeah, I mean, Ford not doing much. I was like, oh, Tesla. You had all these failed wicks above this into that area that I was obsessed with, that weird area, did the weird horror movie Voice 4 accidentally, that 180, 160. I was like, okay, we're rejecting. I get involved, and then Tesla's like, oh, what do you mean I'm rejecting? And gave me that side eye and bounce. So yeah, I was gonna see what we did above 30s. We got above 30s. It is, it is very easy to get discouraged by these here markets, but that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to learn. I'm here to grow. And if you get discouraged, that's how the markets win. No, I'm joking, but you do have to stay positive. This has not been my best day. This is probably my second worst day, honestly, ever. But I'm not necessarily unhappy with the trades I took. It is what it is. I will say the one I'm really disappointed in myself in, this Nvidia. This most recent trade. So I got initially, I was short, right? Then we did the lesson, got out, took about 15 pennies, please this punch. Then I flipped long because I noticed we were bouncing off that area like that 948.50. Turns out that actually would have been the level, but Nvidia shook me out. We dropped $1. I said, Darren, you got to get out, right? So I'm not trading this anymore today. I just really cannot. My little heart cannot take it. No, I'm joking. I just don't want to risk it anymore right now. But you know what? You have to try. And sometimes there will be those moves that happen. Like remember last week when I was super upset because that Fed Mester move happened and we had that big move down in the market. And then again, we had a big move down in the market and I was in a long. And I was all bummed out. And Sharif was like, you know what, Dara, like that's not your fault. Like you can't control that, right?
Yeah,
and that's what happens in this market. I actually think, you know, maybe, and the thing is too, is I still like the level. I wanted to go long because I didn't want to take a revenge short because I, you know, left my other short earlier and I did like the long, but it's like, you can't keep second guessing things for infinity and beyond. Shout out to Buzz Lightyear. You really can't do that. You have to eventually just be like, it happened, make peace with it. Some trades are hard to make peace with others, especially because I've been in an unfortunate losing streak that I am not pleased as punch about. But you know what? You just have to reflect. You have to figure out why things went wrong. And you just got to go brush that dirt off your shoulders. Shout out to Jay-Z. And just keep going. As hard as that can be sometimes, because these markets love to trip you up.
Yeah, I flipped long on Softy. Already wet my beak on Softy. So I took another L there on the soft one as it stopped me out, but I was able to flip long, take a nice little profit taker there. Now we're going to look for a 430 defend. As it did break above that level, I was looking for a whole dollar level reject. You didn't get the rejection. You got the break. Now it's above the 10. It's above the 20 on the 5. It's looking to curl into that $0.50 MSFT. Good headline today. It sold off basically all of midday there, started selling off at 11:50, and we didn't reach the bottom till about 1 o'clock. So about an hour and change worth of selling there on MSFT. So we'll keep eyes on that as the market is curling back into highs, and that's what probably prompted me to get pushed out of that Softy short. 18,757 right now. For the market to go green, it's got to get a little bit higher and print above 6.2. So I think we were in Greensville on the market for maybe about 15 minutes, and then we went red again. This level, this 17. Come on, bro. 18.7 and 2/3, that 6.3 area has featured as a real level of resistance earlier in the pre at 345, then again at 7.10 for whatever reason, then held up here at 11.30, got broken at 11.25, but look how quickly we went right down below that again. So looking to curl right back into that level. A bit of a range on the market here, to be honest, essentially from 10:30 till now. You can see the low end, 18,738, the high end, 18,762, with the exception of this one area over here. So it's been interesting on the market. I haven't seen it this consolidative in quite some time. So good look. We'll see if we can continue to the high side here on the market. But Softy coming down now after taking a little bit piece out now. So a few pennies out of the money at this level.
Hopefully Microsoft has
Goes
a nice
back
hard
up.
move to the upside. Yeah.
Go back up.
Rise up, Microsoft.
Boo.
Rise up. Sharif's booing you.
Down.
Microsoft, do you want that? I don't think you want that. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'm trying to be really careful because like I said, very down in the day. Not much left here to risk, to be honest with you. And you know what? I'm really just, it is what it is. That Nvidia, I think now probably was a short, and I think me going long was some kind of weird, I don't even know what it was, but it doesn't matter what it was. It happened. And all you can do is reflect and move on. And, you know, we were mentioning ranges. I think I agree. There's certainly some ranges in these here markets. You know what else is ranging? IWM a little bit. There's kind of two bases here. One of them is going to be that 208 area. The second going to be 208.10-ish. Then we have that move back above into 208.30. I don't think I'm going to do any trading today. Like I said, very down on the day. I'm not shut down, but I do not want to get shut down. So I'm kind of trying to avoid anything else right now. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take the fact that I'm not shut down as like a victory. And again, not unhappy with any of the trades I made. Just, you know, you have to reflect, you have to learn. So if there's anything people want to look at, I would love to see what we're looking at here because I want to see what people want to look at. I know Sharif's going to do his Pat Sajak at the big screen.
Yes, perfect.
There. So, but yeah, if you have any of the triggers you want to look at now, let me know.
Yes, make sure, I know, I'm sorry for everybody who's heard this a million times, but we have a new segment, guys, so, and we always have new people joining in, so I'm going to do it one more time. I do apologize. That time slot between 2 to 2:20 is now an entirely different segment. We're going to basically put it in the viewer's hands. Whatever tickers you want discussed, go ahead, type that in, hit exclamation point, the word join, space, $, and put in the ticker that you want. The top 4 or 5 tickers every day between 1 p.m. and 1:50, you're going to be able to vote for your favorite tickers. Those are the tickers that we're going to cover between 2 and 2:20. You're going to have the big kahunas give you their levels on them and give you all the technicals and their views. So make sure you're participating in that every day so that you can get what you want on the show. We definitely want to put it in your hands, guys, because you are the viewers, and that's why we're here. So long softy at 430.12, looking for that 430 hold. My out's at 92. I'm going to really be tight with this one. It's going to have to hold that 430 area. Otherwise, I want no smoke. But all I see is what's happening on my side charts over here, and the Cybertruck just printed day's high. So 182.53 on TSLA, holds the 20 like a dang glove, breaks above this 182.25 top that we put in earlier on when we got that news headline, now breaking into the $0.50. Keep your eye out on TSLA. It's having a fantastic day, up 420%.
Wow.
Yeah, 400? Sorry. Yeah, bro, I'm losing it, Neil. 4.2%.
I think we might be up 420% over now.
Clearly, something's going on with me. Anyway, I just got stopped at a softie there as it did come down and break the whole dollar level again. So I may have to stop trading this now because I'm down on it, quite frankly. Yes, down on it. Had some decent trades on it, but it's got my number today, so I think I'm going to leave this one alone.
Yeah, I mean, congrats to you and Microsoft. Definitely doing better than I did today. Like I said, that was my face with this trading day. It was a bit of a, kind of dicey moment.
Everyone's like, what?
Yeah, no, I think the thing is, what I want to take less losses, but I think sometimes you do have to take a couple more losses until you get more comfortable. It's all good. Like I said, not shut down, but to avoid being shut down, unless I see something that screams at me, trade this, I'm not getting involved in anything. Barnes & Noble, mentioned by Ike Anderson. Shout out to American Truther as well for a super chat in this one earlier. I love this kind of resistance and support flippity flop here around that 58-cent level. You don't always get this in these penny stocks, but this is something I've learned from Sharif in terms of trading the small caps. What you're looking for is above VWAP, or at least what Sharif looks for is above VWAP and above the pre-market high. Yeah, our pre-market high was like minuscule, so definitely beat that. We're above VWAP, and that gorgeous support resistance flip at 58 cents is, in a word, gorgeous. So shout out to Barnes & Noble. Definitely some books, pages being flipped here in this book to the upside. Nice look there. ARM was also getting mentioned by a couple of people, so let's take a look at ARM. ARM, says Sharif. Oh, yeah, the longs are certainly saying ARM to the upside. Oh, okay. So it's not a perfect double top, but earlier we had resistance around that 130. Yeah, and as I say double top, ARM's like, what do you mean double top? I'm going to punch you in the face. Use my arm to punch you in the face. I'm going to keep going to the upside. So I'm like, okay, ARM, live. It's okay. But ARM having a little bit of resistance here. We have had these higher highs and higher lows since having that. Oh, and so many great support resistance flips today. With a little bit of chop and churn here, a bit of resistance at that 112 2/3. Then we come and bounce off that 112 2/3. So I think that's a really nice look. There are some levels here in ARM. Then ARM actually also gives us a flat top break, in case there weren't enough chart patterns in this one. We get a mini flat top break here at 1322, higher high, shoot to the upside, 1, 2, 3 green candles to the upside. What a great look. This ARM is kind of a masterclass in charting and technical patterns. What a great look here. AMD, I saw a couple mentions as well, so I will look at this. AMD really chopping and churning. I think it was Francisco Infante saying, could this one go long? I said, I would probably like a higher high. And AMD is unfortunately not giving us that. However, we have continued to bounce at that 165 level. So nice look for AMD. Yeah, you guys let me know if there's anything else you want to take a look at throughout the day, because I'm not doing any more trading. And as I say, AMD 165 support, AMD is like, what are you talking about? And drops that support. But what are you talking about, Sharif, on Microsoft? Oh.
I'm back in Microsoft. I can't help it. Yeah, I like the 430 hold here. I'm just going to have to give it a little bit more room. I mean, it keeps putting in higher lows off that VWAP bounce, so that's a look. But we keep coming into the break-even level on the future, which kind of, I think, pushes this up. And you're getting Tesla pumping, Apple's pumping here. You're not much else, to be honest. Well, Amazon's coming off VWAP as well, but Softy's just giving me problems, man. I don't know why I keep going after this name, but that's what I'm doing. So we're going to have to put this in here. Let me just make sure to see what I've got. Yeah, so then we're going to have to go like that. Oh, boy, I love these keys. Okay, so we're gonna have to go like this, yeah, and then we're gonna go like, okay, I'm gonna have to send it to you.
Yep. Send it to me. I still have nothing. I'm still looking at Nvidia. We do still have that chop and turn around at 949. Like I said, that long probably would have worked had I not gotten chopped up to the downside. But you know what that's what happens in the markets. You just recognize it happened. You're like, hey, market, you chop me up. Tomorrow, I'm gonna come with you with the viciousness. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry about you. I have to put my my order. Okay, so Tesla now breaking through 183. Good look there for the Cybertruck. On the Pepsi news, breaking through that level, 183.17. Now the high day on Tesla. Apple also got into that 192.40. Mid 40s is trying to break through that $0.50. We've definitely had trouble closing above the $0.50 today at 192. You'll see all these wicks here, the closing prints all at or lower than the $0.50. So that gives you an idea that, you know, there may be selling in and around there. It's been rejecting off support level. Is that one? Yeah, support level, sorry, resistance level one, pardon me, at that 192.63, but it is at local highs here with a possible double bottom that put in at 180, 190, 180-ish, but that was a lot earlier. Really has found its footing since that time. Goggles as well, Google really getting going here, breaking through VWAP after printing 176.75, now 177.20. There is a bit of a resistance level though at 177 1/3. Look at that long consolidation range that we put in the morning before that big drop there and to make a new low. So I'd be looking possibly for resistance around 177 1/3, maybe into that 177 1/2. It is a bit of a, you know, a bit of a range spread there on Google. The market is now green. We broke through yesterday's closing print at 18,762. It is now 18,767. 771 is the high of the day. We printed that midday at around 12:15. So we'll continue to see if we can make our way up here on the market. Lots of stuff printing to the high side. Tesla at high a day. Apple, we talked about coming closer to that $0.50. Amazon really has found its footing here at VWAP. So should have held on to that VWAP dip long because it was, you know, it looked like the right thing to do here. 180.150 seems to be the local low here on AMZN as it curls into that 182 1/4, a couple of pennies off that. Keep your eye out on this level here. This has been kind of the level we haven't been able to break through since essentially the IB low this morning. So good look there. Go softy, you punk. There we go. We're going to wet our beak here on some Microsoft profits. Nice breakthrough into the 40 penny area. Softy really aggravated me today. I really had the right idea and terrible execution on Softy today, but that's just the name of the game. Let's see what we can get here. If we can get a break of the $0.50 right back down into a third. I'm looking for this area here on the soft one. This was an interesting area earlier on. It didn't actually hold up at this area, but this is the level, 430 1/2 right there. That was the topping tail candle. I was looking for this area here to hold up because of this area, and it didn't do that. So it made its way all the way down into VWAP. So that's what, you know, yeah, sometimes you just don't have the right read on names. And today I feel like I could have traded Softy a bit better, but that's neither here nor there. Let's see if we can do a little bit better on it right now. Mara moving sideways, gearing up for a push, says Reckless Rick 9. I love that name. Reckless Rick. You must be, are you an aggressive trader?
I was gonna say it sounds like WWE name. Because Rick in the ring.
Hey, I like that. I like your voices there. That's usually my thing. I like it. But here it is, Adara. This is Mara right here, and it was a downward channel basically all day. And then that kind of ended. So the downward channel became a sideways channel. But I gotta tell you, Reckless, it does seem like it's rejecting off the 200 here on the one. Because different areas, every time it ascends into the 200, it's doing a bit of a rejection. On the other side of the coin, Reckless, is that these higher lows are in play here. Ever since we troughed out at 21.12, it's been successively higher lows. So interesting compression here with the 200 on the one acting as resistance, but this lower trend line here giving it the boost. Unsure of how to play this, to be honest with you today. Patty, any look there on Mara that you want to share? It's still in the chop zone. So when you see green, take it. It says Big Patty Ice. Big Patty Ice always keeps his eye on Mara. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I mean, kind of story of trading, right? When it goes green, just take it. I totally agree with that. That's what I had to do with this NVDL. I know I said, I'm not trading anymore today. Like, my heart hurts. No. I said if I saw something I like, I still think I owe it to myself to take it. I like that Nvidia pushed into 950, but I did not want to take it on Nvidia because of, me making some decisions earlier. So I said, Adair, I tried to take it on NVDL. Took about 6 pennies, or 8, sorry, I'm going to give myself more credit. I took 8 pennies. No, sorry, 6, still 6. It wasn't a trade of anyone's life, no. No, it wasn't, but I needed to take it because I needed to prove it's like if you like a level, just get involved. And I really appreciate what you said about Microsoft and execution, because that was the same thing I felt with Nvidia.
Yeah.
I had the levels right, I just couldn't execute them for the life of me. And then my last trade I had on it, it just had that kind of flush to the downside, recovered right after. So the markets are bamboozling, but you have to have faith in your own ideas.
Agree.
It's about conviction. It's about confidence, which we don't have, but someone to our right who's going to be on in 17 minutes has in spades. It's the confidence, having your confidence, your levels that you like. And I think the trades that have done the best have just been the trades where it's been like, okay, these levels work out, and I'm committed to them, and I like them, and so why am I not getting involved? That's why I took and again, I am getting this excited about a 6-penny trade on Nvidia, or NVDL, sorry, but it's like, you just gotta feel good when things work out. You have to have confidence in what you want. Tesla has confidence and a little bit of taking a breath. It's like, guys, I ran so long. Okay, let me breathe. Let me have a little breath. I just broke a high of day in like 2 5-minute, pretty intense candles. Like, let me have a rest. So I'm like, okay, Tesla. It's hard to say where this will rest. Support and resistance would tell us it might take a pause at 182.20, but we didn't really get that far down. Like, if you think of where we had our 3 big candles up in this first move, then we took this little pause at 180.50. That was like about a 70-penny move, right? Or 50? So it's really hard to tell exactly where we'll pause. I would say just watch the book, watch where we're kind of seeing that consolidation, that chop and churn. Something's happening around 80s, and I feel like Tesla in 80s, and I mean that when I say that 179 80s were kind of spicy, 182 80s were kind of spicy, so that 80 level could be interesting for us for TSLA. I would say see what we're seeing in the book, see what you're seeing in the chart. If you have any confluence that little breath Tesla's doing is done, maybe you want to take the marathon to the upside. Again, not advice, just my take on the chart and the book. But how is Microsoft treating you?
Good. We're at the $0.50, but this is the level that we were talking about, Adara, because we had a technical level of resistance there in the earlier trading day. It was around 1035. We got into 430.5, and then we dropped all the way down to 428 2/3. So let's see, we're at 49s right now. Can we get that decided break and hold above the $0.50? We were up there, but there's obviously a seller. I've been watching the tape. We keep getting pushed down. We danced near it. We're at it right now. We're printing above it. 55s, 57s, go softy go. We want, I don't know, let's go 431.25. Maybe I'm being too greedy. I'm going to let this go. It's not a big piece that I'm holding, so I'm just going to let it go on MSFT. Guys, I hate to belabor the point, but I want to do it again. Make sure you're joining us every day. New segment, 2 to 220. Go ahead, in the chat, type exclamation point, join, space, $, and the ticker that you want the big kahunas to discuss. Neil's back today, baby. We'll be talking about these names between 2 to 220. It's about 4 or 5 names. You guys get to choose them. Number 1, 2, 3, or 4, and 5. We'll get to all of them, hopefully. And we're going to talk about technicals. We're going to talk about the look, the trade. Even if they didn't trade it, we'll be talking about it. Go and have your say right now in the chat. New segment powered by Trader TV Live viewers. All right, that move above 50 showing you that there is definitely a seller at 50. We get into that 62s, and right below 50 we go. So we're going to try and pack our patience here to see if the MSFT can curl a little bit off that VWAP dip. Now, the market was doing things, and by things, I mean that it did go green on the day. And by market, I'm talking about the NQ June contract, the futures. 18,771. We come right up to 69s, but this area has been the area that we've been having trouble with all day. I went so far as to say we were quite consolidative here between 18,7 1/3 and 18,7 2/3. We're still kind of within that range, to be honest with you. Nothing's really changed. This is the closing print yesterday on the market. We've had trouble breaking and holding above this level all day. Unsurprising. It seems like it is a bit of a sideways day today on the market. There have been outsized movers, like, for example, Apple's up nicely, Microsoft's up nicely. How can we forget the Cybertruck? It was up over 5% at a point, 183.52 HOD. I personally, okay, let's talk a little Tesla here. So Tesla's getting a bit of a breather. Now, if I was to look technically at a level that I like that 182 mid-teens, maybe for a 182 defend. We had a top there. Look at that top. All these topping tail candles through the break of 182 telling you that there was definitely a seller on the other side of 182, but then we take that level. So are we going to use that level now as support? So I'm going to be watching here to see if Tesla gives up the ghost a little bit, drops into the lower 182s. I could definitely be persuaded to get long on said Cybertruck. We'll see exactly what Tesla does, but great look for them today on the Pepsi news. They'll be buying more semis, baby. I still haven't seen one in the wild. Have you?
Me neither.
No, neither have I. I think they're more like probably down south. I don't think there's any here. I don't know if there's any here, but I just don't assume. I haven't even seen a Cybertruck in the wild yet.
No, me neither. But I will have to say, I want to see how the Pepsi Tesla trucks drive, because I've noticed Tesla drivers are very aggressive drivers.
Huh.
I've noticed that. Literally, like, as someone who's a pedestrian, I walk everywhere, right?
That's a good
The
observation.
other day, I see someone, I'm like, what kind of car is that? It's a big blue Tesla.
Oh.
Great look, really beautiful car. Oh, yeah. So Ramin has some thoughts on Tesla drivers, and they kind of align with what I said.
Yeah.
So
we can't say Ram's thoughts out loud, though,
shout
but
out to
you
Ramin.
guys get it.
Ramin's, well, we can't say them out loud because they're trademarked, and so we don't want to get sued. So shout out to Ramin there. Also, shout out to this amazing GME level. A lot of people here mentioning GME level, including, I believe, Anton in the chat. But look at this. We had this support resistance fight with VWAP earlier, right? Then we dropped to the downside with the viciousness. We fall below that support around that 2030. And no, GME hasn't really been above VWAP all day. Like, every time we get to VWAP, the game stops. And then we go to the downside. Then we have a little bit of a pause here, 21. And then 21 could not do something for GME. So it fell to the downside. We see that chop and trade around 2020s. Then we're roaring back to the upside. Into 2080, we have that bounce, then we come back up, and look where we end up rejecting again. That's right, our old pal VWAP, but now it's in confluence with that previous level of rejection at 2030s, or 2130s. I think if we break above there, it could be pretty swift, but I think this topping tail candle not giving me a lot of confidence, and the VWAP and 2130 rejection giving me a lot of confluence that this rejection may continue. Let's look at PanW as well, because we've seen a couple mentions of that. Sharif pointed out just a beautiful level on this, which was we got to that.
Unreal, this thing.
Yeah, look, we get to that level, we fill that whole gap, and then we kind of reject a little bit. We're still down on the day.
Adair, I was going to sell this last night, man, in the mid 290s.
Well, that would have been a pan L.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy you waited. Yeah. So in all seriousness, I know I pun, but in all seriousness, I know you were pretty upset about PanW.
Yeah, like I was like, oh my God, I have to deal with this other earnings report that I have to suffer through again, this, that, and the other. But I can't believe it closed the gap that dang quickly. Wow, we're back to yesterday's opening print, essentially, on Panda. All right, my Microsoft trade be over. We took that nicely for a 50 penny winner there through the break of 430 and 2/3. I'm still red on Microsoft. That's how poorly my execution was on it today, despite the fact I feel I still had the right ideas. We'll do better, though. Hopefully every day will improve a little bit here. So MSFT, nice VWAP bounce up 1 1/5. About 9 minutes left on the show. What are you guys looking at in the chat? VWIS, says Ike Anderson. Let's have a look at that. Sounds like it might be a small cap gapper. VWIS. VWIS, yeah. And then he says CRKN. All right, well, what's cracking up to? Crown. It's Crown. I know. No, this is still selling off. This is not longable in my estimation. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, you can't. I just don't think this is. you can take it as a long unless it gets above the volume weighted average price at 15 pennies. That's my rule. That's not a hard and fast rule. So I'll forego that. Everyone's talking about GME. You had a quick look there at GameStop, as it's also back at VWAP. So we've been seeing this a little bit more. I remember we saw this a little bit on Friday, where it was making its way into the volume weighted average prices. Definitely had trouble with VWAP all along the line as of late, ever since that big boy move that it put in. So we'll continue to watch GameStop here at 21.25, definitely finding a little bit of resistance, some topping till prints coming in through that 21.25 VWAP area. So GameStop could be on watch for the afternoon. If it gets parabolic and holds above VWAP here, something could happen. So if you're into that, absolutely. Tesla right back into highs again. So it didn't even give us a chance to try to get in at this 182-ish area that we said was a consolidation top. Right back into 183.66 is new high a day here on Tesla. It doesn't even make its way down into the 10 period. So strong was this trend. 182.50-ish, that would have been the 10 period. I wasn't looking there. I was looking at this area over here, which was a little bit below it at 182. So Tesla continuing to be strong now, 4.88% to the good. Apple finding some resistance at the $0.50, 192.5. Precipitating some selling here back into the low 40s. Keep your eye on this area though, 192 and 192.5 actually is the level, because the closing prints were all at that half level, or if not below. So the wicks took us into 2/3, but the closing prints are at the half. So possibly here we could stop out at this level or encounter some resistance before breaking through it. So 192.5, definitely a technical area there from earlier in the day, Adair.
Yeah, certainly an area.
Wow,
I want to quote
Tesla.
someone in the chat here, Zeus Alliance. I love trading, LOL. Yeah, I mean, I just think that sums it up sometimes in these markets. Like I said, down to the day, this is actually, for as much planning as I did today, and I did quite a bit. I did hone down my focus. This is my worst trading day by far. I am 1 for 6, and the one name I'm positive on is in Nvidia. I'm positive bias until. I'm just trying to be honest. You know what I mean? We're all about real trading here. We are brought to you by Real Trading, and we're all going to be honest. But you know what? That tells me it's like, hey, Adair, something didn't work, and I know it's the execution. So what are you going to do to fix it? I'm going to come back tomorrow, twice as hard, maybe more refreshed, because honestly, saying that, talking about indigos in Toronto and then naming a Winnipeg mall is I think a sign of someone who's maybe a little bit sleep deprived. So it's all good. Overslept last night. I was telling Sharif, I woke up, thought it was Saturday.
Yeah.
And I was so excited. I was like, oh, it's Saturday. Why did I wake up so early? And then I looked at my watch.
That's when I know, like, I've been in a real deep sleep, when I don't know what day it is. Kind of.
Yeah, that was like, it was a whole moment. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I want to look at CleanSpark here for John Szymanski. CLSK, Wick Shimmy Dance, he says.
Oh, interesting.
And so, yeah, I would say, I don't know, Wick Shimmy Dance, I think VWAP is certainly a fascinating level here. Pop up above it. Pop up above it. Go below. Pop up a little bit. We fell down again. Generally, we had kind of an interesting reversal here. Lower highs, lower lows. Then we have a weird decision point here at 11:55, right before Neil's lesson of the day. We pop right back up. Massive range per candle here in just 20 minutes. We go all the way from 18 to 1845. We reject that VWAP. Then we make a higher low. And I highlighted that level because we bounced a couple times here around that 1825. Now we're curling back to the upside. I think if we can break above this high that we tried to eclipse a couple times, 1855, that'd be a nice look for CLSK. But yeah, this is certainly an interesting chart. I think there are some interesting levels on it for sure. Also, I want to, take another look at Nvidia. I literally think like tonight, maybe I'll go down, sit at my piano and write a sonnet about Nvidia 948.50. It is rare, I find, that there are levels that scream at you so much as this level has screamed at me on Nvidia over the last few days. It's not even just today, although today it's been massive, and I feel like I've said it way too many times. But like we have, if support and resistance are gonna flip, if they're gonna play certain levels, you have to have your eye on those levels. My issue was just not executing the trades appropriately, and that last long, unfortunately, I did get kind of chopped up because I get involved, we drop $1, then we come right back up. But you know what? C'est la vie. It happens. It's how things go. And what matters is not how the markets get you down, because they will get you down unless you're, Sean and Neil and the big Hudas there. But it's about how you get back up. And I think that's what really matters, and that's what I'm trying to focus on. That's what I'm trying to strive towards as we head into the next day. To quote another Jay-Z song, actually to quote two Jay-Z songs, you know what? You got to get that dirt off your shoulders and on to the next one. And that's what I'm going to be trying to do into the rest of these days of trading. Mr. Longshorts talking about ARM. ARM getting a leg up on the markets here. ARM punching, you know, to the upside. Nice uppercut here on arm. As I mentioned, that 113.20 flat top break-esque was a nice look. Then we had that move, that curl up above 115.40s. That's a great look here. Bit of a hammer candle. We're going to have to see. But to me, nice strong look. Nice strong green volume as well. I mean, how many green candles have we had in the last little bit in the 5 minute? Can't even count. Yeah, Darwin, you know what? I'm going to say it's Big Pampin'. It's another Jay-Z song we can talk about today in these markets, Big Pampin'. Because the Qs are trying to pop right back again above highs here. Let's take a look at these Qs. Oh, this is a nice look. And look at this. Look where we bounce, okay? We come down to 454.90s, and we bounce sort of off that previous high around 454.90s. Now we're trying to peak our heads above here, that 455 level. This is a great look. What else is moving? What do you guys want to look at in the last 2 minutes? Arm getting a hand says ain't too much. Love that pun in your name, and I do love that move. And as I talk, the Qs are like, oh, Jerry, you want me to make a new high of day? Sure, why not? Pumping to the new high of day. Great look here on these markets. Arm boom, says Ike Anderson. I don't disagree. Tesla continuing to be strong. Our very own Pat Sajak there, a Sharif, getting ready at the green screen, so you're going to see him post haste there. What else are people looking? Here's some meta ripping when people start talking about it. Let's look at Rivian Millionaire. Yeah, oh, okay. This is a really interesting support resistance flip. You guys know I love the 9 EMA, maybe too much. Look at these rejections of the 9 EMA. Look how we're trying to curl back up. Meta could have a little bit of a flip here, and I also like that we're kind of coming in to trying to break off the top that 464 area, which was that a little bit of a support on a wick basis, mind you, a bit earlier. I love the support resistance flips. That's what we're trying to get on here on M to the E to the T and the A. Please look at Amazon, says Prathibia. Yeah, sure, that's right. Totally got your name wrong, but let's take a look at this Amazon. This is fascinating. Amazon here, we had that move down. We tried to curl back up. Went back down, bounced off VWAP, and made a higher high. Then we came, and again, this VWAP wasn't a bounce. It was a nice slow burn consolidation. It said, I'm not going to give you that bounce right away. No, siree, Bob. I'm going to make you wait for it. And it does. Then it pops up. Right now, continuing to show what's been a pretty strong resistance level all day, 182.13. Let's see if we get it. Right as we head into the end of the day, I'll take a look at coin for Alicia, and let's see what we get. Yeah, honestly, for coin, this continues to just be a really steady grind to the upside. I said 226 might be resistance, and coin laughed in my face. So continue. Since about 11 here, we've had higher highs, higher lows. We're kind of getting into that previous support in the pre-market at 230. But you know what we're also getting into is the end of the How to Trade show. It's been so great to be here with you guys. Hope you guys have had as much fun as we had. Not a great trading day, but always a great lesson day, at least not for me. But we'll see you guys tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. You've got Brendan at the big desk, but more pressing right immediately is going to be Sharif at that big green screen, guys.
All right, guys, welcome to the brand new segment where you get to choose what we talk about.